join the Mark Order.
Hello, hello.
Oh my god.
Well, since he's not here, hold on. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means.
Matt is here, and Ant is not.
What's is Anthony okay?
We haven't heard from
Honestly,
him, so I have no idea.
I bet you he pulled a rat and he fell asleep.
Honestly, if he did, good on him. Good on that guy. He needs some rest. He deserves it.
What's
up, Matt?
Oh, what's up?
How are you? It's good to have you.
I am great.
Did you get to watch tonight?
No.
You did not get to watch tonight. Will you be sticking around the whole show? Or just
probably not. I'll be here until the wife comes home. And we have to figure out
Nice.
what's for
Okay.
dinner.
Ooh, what's for dinner? Are you doing one of your cooking gimmicks?
I don't know. I don't feel like cooking.
I don't blame you.
Out in the cold all day. I want to cook.
Yeah, it got cold. It was like sunny and nice, but it was cold, damn it.
How you guys doing?
Good. Do we have any other surprise guests tonight?
I have no idea.
You don't know
the invitation is open if we do.
I know.
Dude, Tony's probably cuddling with Anthony. They're sleeping together. What do you out of your mind?
It's very, very possible. Very, very possible.
I mean, he watched tonight.
Tony did, yes. I saw on the Discord. I got home, I took a shower, and then the wife wasn't home, so I said, "Oh, I'm going to jump in and surprise them." And I just kept refreshing the YouTube until I heard the music, and then I jumped in to surprise everybody.
Well, I'm excited that you're here, man. Especially because Ant isn't here next week because they're going to Dynamite in Connecticut. And I was like, wait, was that this week? Like, I thought I got my weeks mixed up, but
they went to they're going to Dynamite too?
Well, yeah, because they got listed by a certain personal trainer / boyfriend of Miss Gina's. So I was like, oh, next week is me and Ryan. And then when we weren't hearing from Ant, I was like, am I dumb? Is it this week? But no, they were in Boston tonight. So
wait, hold on. From Mrs. Money, where is Mr. Money?
That is an excellent question.
She's in the city, right? She's not home.
Ice and Gina, your husband is missing.
Right?
I don't know if
he's asleep. That fucker is asleep.
He must
be he's iced out. It's a wrap.
Or something is going on with your son, which I hope is not the case. But
don't do that. Don't say that.
Well, I'm just the only reasons I can think of they would be here. My third option is he's just so ashamed that he's completely lost his wife to her various AEW boyfriends and Christian and Claudio, and most of all Tony Nese. Like, it's getting pretty serious with Tony at this point.
Yeah, this fucker's asleep. He's sound asleep.
Well, she's saying
you know what?
Him around 9:45 with no luck. So,
at least he doesn't fall asleep on air. That's more than we can say about some other hosts that we've had in the past before.
Ryan Van Dam.
Matt, how are you? It's so nice to see you. Are you excited for your big anniversary show coming up?
Oh, very excited. I have nothing to do but show up and beat Christian at trivia, which should be very easy.
I think, I know it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some really fun shenanigans planned. So I'm very excited for that on the 21st. And the Bread Club's out today. We love that for you.
Yeah. Me and my British friend Kieran dropped through, and I threw some plugs out there for the Mark Order podcast. If you listen,
well, we appreciate that.
Tomorrow's my listening day for Bread Club. I always listen because I don't know when you guys post, so it usually takes me about a day to get to it.
Yeah, it's we send it all over to to Jeremy, and then it's whenever I get the Twitter notification.
We're working on it. We're gonna make it very fluid at Overbooked. I want to.
I'm not worried the least about it. I got my
That's
comfy
good.
socks on. I'm home, and I'm a little annoyed that Anthony's not here because he talked a lot of shit on Twitter all of a sudden.
He talked a lot. I saw that he talked a lot. He must be asleep. He's
definitely asleep. Good for him. I do it every fucking week.
He got his energy up all ready for the argument on here, and then he fell asleep because he used it all up.
That's
no Tony, no Kevin. Very disappointed in the Wizards.
I know. I saw like the Wizards hype tweet for this show. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we're getting an invasion angle.
No,
but
it's just not. If there's a lot of activity from the Wizards account, it's because there's nothing to do. On the truck, I'm literally just standing there, either in front of the oven like this, or I'm leaning against the table like this with my head down, and then someone comes up and I have to pick my head up like they're inconveniencing me.
Well, they are in a way, but inconveniencing you too.
Does the oven help with the cold days?
No. Once it gets like probably the temperature it is right now outside, like 39, 38, like everything's just fucking cold. The dough is cold, the cheese is cold, the ground is cold. There's only so many times you can stick your hands in front of the oven, and then you don't factor in like the wind.
Mrs. Money, you don't have to have your poor husband wake up to do the show. It's fine.
No, don't wake him up.
No.
No, let him sleep.
Let the man get some rest.
I actually think it's funnier if she doesn't wake him up, and then he wakes up like at 1 in the morning.
Mid-show and is like, oh no. Especially because he's off next week. It's just like he's bailing.
Plus, him falling asleep for this show is something we can hold over his head. I don't want to lose that.
No, yeah. I would prefer the leverage than him joining for this week. But we've got one millionaire who leaves. We've got another money man who's out. It's just us poors over here.
Look at this fucking lazy shit. This is quality B team. Come on, you can get yourself in here. There, Rumpelstiltskin. Let's go. You want me to add you there, big guy? There he is.
Hey!
Lazy shit.
Hi, Aunt.
You're late. Nope.
No, can't hear you. That's so mean.
All right, we'll fucking wait till he fixes his shit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so annoyed. Look at how annoyed he is.
Matt, we're getting closer to full gear. Are you excited? Hi.
I'm super excited. I want to know where my tickets are, Anthony.
He said, screw you guys. I'm going home.
He's fucking he's gonna hate me.
Going to? Or does he already?
You think he already hates me? He left his flip-flops in my car from fucking Queens.
I mean,
what are you eating over there, Schlong?
Reefies.
Nice. Well, we got
played.
the Take Fives downstairs. Grabbed a couple of those when I came up here to wait.
Did you take
5 of them?
I only took 2 of them. Come on, the last thing I need is 5 chocolate candy bars.
I mean, I'm going to be eating 4 Reese's cups.
All right. I dig that.
I'm just jealous.
How's everything with you guys?
It's going. It's been a very weird and long year, but it's going.
Yeah, I saw you like a couple weeks ago. I don't have to catch up.
I just mean like in general, but I'm doing all right. I have for my new job, one of my clients is in New Zealand, and because we're on different time zones, I was like watching wrestling and having to take care of some like urgent stuff for them. But yeah, things are all right. It's just very.
Does your new client know who the Bushwhackers are?
I don't think so.
You should ask them or lick their head when you see them.
I'm gonna do that. If I ever see them in person, I'll just come in. I'll just come on in and lick their head. Is that Jeff Jarrett behind you again? Are you trolling me again, Ryan?
Yes, I am.
Ryan, how you doing over there? You feeling this bold move wearing that dick sucker hat? I mean, the Phillies hat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, The only had to be more embarrassing is a team that won over 100 games and didn't get out of the wild card round.
They're all in the same house, my friend. They're all under
No. I got to see one of them has a pennant. One of them doesn't.
Pennant? What are you, fucking 87 years old?
Okay. Suddenly it doesn't matter.
Oh, Tony Z's awake. Tony, come on in, buddy.
We're partying.
I want Tony to come in. I give him a lot of credit for watching Dynamite tonight.
Why?
That's a big move for him. He felt
Good for him. Good for Tony.
Oh, man, see, I think I don't.
I love
Kate,
chopping his fucking.
The first meeting of Kate. I don't think Kate was anywhere near Tony. So
I was the first half, and then the second half I wasn't. I got up to pee, and then me and Kevin Gill switched seats. I was like, "This guy's a maniac," and I adore him.
In the suite, forget about it. It's gonna be bad.
I'm excited. Bring it on.
Hey, it's you can deal with him, not me.
I did the first time.
Yeah, but this is like a whole nother level now. Like, he knows
I know
you.
him now.
There's a suite. It's not like there's gonna be like rows of people around us.
Look, his favorite promotion is completely falling apart at the seams. All right, NWA is now officially trash. Like, he deserves a night of going out, seeing a different wrestling show that we know he doesn't like, and just getting obliterated either on alcohol or catering or life. Like, he just deserves that night out. So, what the fuck is this fly doing here? It's like 38 degrees out. How are you alive? Go.
My favorite thing is he'll try to troll us, and then I'll troll him with positivity.
I'll troll him with the fact that Tyrus is main eventing NWA pay-per-views.
I will just sit back and watch and enjoy the show.
No, I'm very excited. I'm very excited because I haven't seen you guys in a really long time either. Like,
saw you at Queens.
I saw you, but like I haven't seen Tony or Kevin since last time we were all at Tony's for the show?
Insignificant people. Let's be honest here.
Peons.
Be honest, right? They get invited up to the house every weekend. They don't fucking show up. It's on them. It's their fault.
It's true.
They're not important. They're not VIPs.
I mean, living the sweet life, I think everybody's a VIP. But I'm excited.
We're going to find out.
We are going to find out.
Schlong, how you doing over there?
I'm doing well, Very happy the way my baseball team performed in the playoffs.
Nice. Lemon ice. How about your soccer team? Are you into the soccer?
No, and I had to laugh because they were trying to they're like, oh, Philadelphia's the first city to lose 2 major championships in one day. And I'm just thinking to myself, you can't consider the MLS a major championship. It's just not. Like,
you got to get the rub while the rub is hot, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm actually okay with us being. I'm okay with us being the.
Gotta get the rub while the rub is hot.
On the record books for doing something bad. That never bothers me.
All right.
But it's just like the MLS, really?
Yeah, no, you could. I know nothing of soccer.
I didn't even know they were in the championship for a long time.
I didn't even know it was soccer season until people are like, Roma. I don't fucking know.
Soccer sucks. Tell a friend.
It does.
Stick your vuvuzela up your ass. How do you like them apples? Fucking World Cup. Suck me, soccer.
Well, Suck Me Soccer is the name of the episode. We got that down, so don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, what do you got? A fucking whiteboard over there, Kate? Look at you.
I do have a whiteboard over here. It's not like fancy. I just have ADD, so I need shit around to write on constantly.
I mean, is there such thing as a fancy whiteboard?
Actually, I think there are.
There kind of are. This one's not one of them. That's just a generic one. Ew.
Don't know me.
I just did. How do you like them apples?
I don't like them at all.
Do you like apples in general?
Oh, we got a whole thing going on downstairs, Kate. I'll tell you.
With apples?
Oh, we got a dehydration machine.
Woo!
Apples and lemons and limes and oranges and cranberries.
Wait, why do you dehydrate apples?
I am not doing any of this. My wife is doing it because she is the head bartender at the new restaurant she works at. So she is in charge of the winter menu. So she is making garnishes and such.
But aren't apples best juicy?
No, dude, apple crisps are delightful.
Apple crisps, and then for drinks too, you don't want to put like an apple wedge on something. That would be terrible.
Yes, I don't drink, so I don't know.
Like a gross, chunky, oxidized apple versus like a little crisp. So much better. Plus, when you're baking, you want to put dehydrated fruit in.
So we
It's
got
the
that's
best.
going on down there. My mother-in-law's going blind, literally. So that's exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking great.
Yikes. I'm sorry.
Great. Don't worry. Nelly will be here any minute now.
I was going to ask, how are the cats?
They're somewhere. They're around here.
They're the pajamas. The cat's pajamas.
No, I got it.
Still trying to come in. This is some B show bullshit right here.
I'm kind of like, I was gonna say we could like get into the show a little bit, but I didn't know if Ant was still attempting, so I didn't.
So my whole thing is, we
Oh.
put an open invite into some A show members apparently,
we are
and no one
the
showed up. Well, okay, so some B show members, and none of them showed up to face the master debater. That is me.
Yeah, it's face the masturbator, please.
Yes, I'm the
I
master
don't know
debater.
why our masturbator didn't come to face the Mark Gordon masturbator. He's clearly awake.
I was waiting for it.
And then your fearless leader, he can't even show up on time. He's late. He's a disaster over there. I got to step up. I got to step in.
Hey, can you at least hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
God.
we
What do you
can.
want?
All right, hold on.
What is this? Your fucking first day? Let's go. You're fucking 25 minutes late.
Yeah, well,
Where are my tickets?
Oh my God.
what ticket are you talking about?
He
full
shows
year.
up every 3 months. He shows up once
Hey,
a business
no.
quarter.
Zip it over there, okay? I got heat with this motherfucker. He knows.
for full gear?
I texted him yesterday about it.
Oh, the figures.
Figures.
I'm always looking out for this guy, and then I send him a message. Oh, I ordered these in September. Where?
I don't know how
wait.
else I heard about them besides
heads
you.
up. Hey, Matt, look what I ordered. Look what I pre-ordered. This is available. No love for me.
How's your vagina tonight? You feeling okay?
I'm rubbing it all over your flip-flops, buddy.
Well, thanks. I forgot
Well,
about those flip flops. You could have
I
told me
mean-
that you didn't have them, and I would have been like, "What flip flops?"
I got a lot of discharge. You don't want that all over your...
Ew.
Ew.
It happens.
You know what, though? You're right. He doesn't
You
tell you about the pre-order. He's suddenly getting listed at events and not inviting any of us.
I don't even know what that means. Listed. Guess what? Last time I got listed, I brought Kate and Anthony with me. I didn't even get a fucking invite.
Exactly. But no, somebody was nice enough to set aside tickets, it sounds like. And we don't even get told that that's the case.
I got 15 people. They want to know where their tickets are for the suite they paid for. I can't even get an answer out of this guy. I don't even see his face, unless his face turned into a hand.
I can't get my camera to work.
Well, that sounds like
Unless his face turned into... Unless... Maybe his face turned into a hand.
he's big time in us. You guys. not me.
He is.
Why would I big time?
Who knows what kind of agenda you have over there?
I don't have any agenda.
How was your nap?
Oh, it wasn't great.
Because you woke up?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get my camera to work.
Can you see us?
I can, and my mic wasn't working, but now I got the mic to work. I can't figure out the camera.
Everyone wave to Ant. Hi, Ant.
I'm waving like an idiot.
We can see it because your face is a hand.
Do you want me to come over and help?
No, that's all right.
All right, good. Because I didn't want to take off my comfy socks.
Oh, Ant, is it like not recognizing your camera?
This happened once or twice to me, and I was able to go out and come back in, and the camera was working, but now it's not. And my computer updated before, and I told it not to, so I don't know what's going on.
That's so rude of it. But anytime I've had to like switch cameras or get it to recognize, I've had to leave and come back. So
Well, I've tried it 2 times now, and it's not working.
Third time.
Does it have your camera selected, or is it selecting some like another camera?
No, it's got the right thing selected.
Yeah, it's okay because we get the beautiful sound of your voice. And
You
well,
should
we
try
would
blow-
love your
blowing-
beautiful
blow
face.
blow on it like a video game.
Like
card.
a
The
Nintendo
camera?
cartridge.
Yeah, go give it a try. See what happens.
Yep.
Always asking you to blow on things.
This is what happens when I show up. I break your shit.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't even know it was going to happen, did you?
Break the walls down.
Better than
Break
Tony
down the
Z,
walls.
who broke our hearts by not showing up, but joining the
Why was he
chat.
even supposed to show up?
I don't know, something in the Discord. He was like, I'm going to be there.
Well, no, it actually started with Monday night. Him and Kevin were having heated debate about AEW on Monday night, and I was chiming in via the comments because Tony doesn't watch, but has such anger for a show he
is.
doesn't watch, and I don't understand it.
That's and I play both sides.
Oh, I can see that.
It's my fucking favorite thing to do.
My favorite was when Kevin and Tony were having like some very heated debate about something with refereeing, and you just pulled yourself off the screen and were like, see ya.
That's it. Well, you know what's disappointing is they have this heated debate, then we do the commercial break, and then I get to get up after the stupid commercial break because we just do the live reads now. So I don't know what they talk about. So I listen back to it, and today I hear they're like apologizing to each other. Sometimes things get heated and we say things we don't mean. You two fucking assholes. Just let it fucking breathe, dipshits.
My whole thing is I see Matt as the guy with like side chats going on with each of them, sending text messages being like, Kevin, you can't let Tony get away with saying that, and send something to Tony like, Tony, really? You're gonna listen to Kevin? Like, I just see it Matt just poking the bears.
I don't even do it at the
Virtual
side text. I
wieners.
just do it on the show. I say goofy shit to annoy Kevin, and then he says something outlandish, and that fires up Tony, and then they go back and forth.
Outlandish. Like Zicky Dice.
So you guys, I'm sure you talked last week about the Shibata thing, and I know Anthony and his wonderful wife took the trip to Atlantic City. It perplexes my brain that New Japan, like I don't think people understand how big of a deal it was for him to have a wrestling match.
I would say, I don't know, the crowd reaction was pretty good, and on the Fightful, but I guess if you're nerdy enough to be tuning into like a wrestling pro show, you're probably like the fan that would know who Shibata was. Because like it was a very big deal from what I was seeing online. Like people were really, really excited about it. But like if you're nerdy enough to be either like tuning into a podcast or tweeting about wrestling, you're probably like aware of who he was. But I like what was cool was on Friday, I saw like a lot of stuff about people being like, Shibata got me back into wrestling, or like that he was like a really, really big part of people's fanhood, that was awesome to see. Cause like I know what he went through, and I know like of some matches people told me to check out, but I didn't realize like how influential he was like in a lot of people's like becoming of fans, or like a lot of people returned because of his work or whatever. Like him versus Okada and stuff was like really big moments for them as wrestling fans. So that was really cool because I just like knew of his injury and had seen a bunch of matches of his, but there are some people who are like very into it. But it's nuts. Like the fact that Shibata was like, I want to fight Orange Cassidy and Bryan Danielson was like, whoa, that's insane. Like what a gamut to run. So that rules. But I mean, Ant was there live. He would probably know better.
So it was sort of weird. Like they had that video package that they put together about Shibata, and it seemed like, you know, that was news to a lot of people, but there were also people around us, because I was even saying to Gina, like, I think Shibata's got to win this, like, just for what they're trying to do, plus the fact that Shibata said he wanted to face Danielson. You know, they could have sort of done it at Wrestle Kingdom or something like that. Like, you know, I knew that was a long shot, but there were people who were clearly like, no way, like, all Orange Cassidy. And I was like, you're not aware of like this whole story, huh? Like, it seemed like a weird mixture. in the crowd around us. But to me, it also played out like I would sort of expect like a Japanese match to play out. It was, very much Shibata style, and I guess they were going at a speed that he felt comfortable at. But I don't know. It was a weird feeling in the room. It was cool to see him wrestling again, and I get the whole story because the whole story is interesting, but it just was a weird vibe in the room. It seemed like to a lot of people it wasn't that big a deal, and I was like, this is a huge deal. Like, I don't know. It was a weird vibe in the room. I don't know how it played out on TV. I didn't get to see it back on TV, but it definitely seemed a little more quiet than I thought it would be in the room.
It was on TV. Look, the match was awesome. No one's gonna take that away from these guys. Yeah, just like he was like Shibata was there like when Wrestle Kingdom 10 was like available on some weird like streaming service, and Steve Corino was calling the matches, and it was like Shibata and Nakamura and Tanahashi and Okada. Like he was part of the core. Like he was very important to the popularity that is New Japan Pro Wrestling now, and just the way that he was taken out of the game, and the way we were kind of told like he would never wrestle again. Like him coming out and confronting Kenta over in Japan, and then the exhibition he had with Ren Narita, and him getting physical at Forbidden Door. Like these are huge deals. So to have his first professional wrestling match be an AEW on it's a throwaway Rampage. And I get it because you have to push ratings, right? Because Friday night at 10 o'clock is not the best spot for a wrestling show. But man, it just seems super weird. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like that was so tailor made for a New Japan ring. And they talked about it at Battle Autumn. Like, I don't know. It was great. Look, it's great. If this was like, we're going to send Shibata to AEW and he's going to wrestle Orange Cassidy, and if he feels good and he looks good afterwards, then maybe he's going to confront Ospreay at the end of the Stardom New Japan show in 11 days, so we could set up Shibata and Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. It was great to see, and it's great that he's healthy and he moves like he's 10 years younger, but it still is just weird for me.
I think part of that is like, you're right in that 10 o'clock on a Rampage probably doesn't feel like the right spot. These ROH titles have got to get the fuck off the AEW programming for reasons like that. But I do think it's like, if he wanted to fight Orange Cassidy and Danielson, like he's not going to win the All Atlantic title, right? Because he can't defend it on a consistent basis, probably, because we just literally don't know what his status with his brain is. But like, I'm thinking that, don't you think like Danielson and him would happen in a New Japan ring? Like maybe this one, I'm like, not that it's a throwaway. I think it should have been on a Dynamite, but like, I feel like the move is if Danielson wants, as a part of his last years in pro wrestling competition, to be like a New Japan run. Like, do you think we see that at some point? Like it go the other way?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I imagine so. Look, the thing with the Shibata thing too is like I told Ant, because and me and Kieran talked about it on the Bread Club. Like 48 hours is not like he knew people that would have flown from fucking England to the States for his match.
Yeah.
Like it's a big deal to a lot of people. Like if I had known if this was something that was going to happen this Friday and they announced it last Wednesday, I would have done everything in my power to try and be there. And I got fucked anyway Friday because fucking Mrs. Marzell's Amazing Adventure people don't know what the fuck they're doing. I ended up driving all the way to Brooklyn just to turn around and drive all the way fucking back home.
No.
I could have been in fucking Atlantic City.
I'll tell you this much. That match didn't move tickets. It wasn't, if they intended to announce it and help push tickets for the live event, it didn't do the job. The room was still, there was still room to sit in that arena. So if they intended it for, TV ratings, I don't know, maybe that worked, but it wasn't a major ticket mover like they maybe thought it would, because there were still plenty of seats.
Well, maybe, I mean, we don't know what it looks like before that, right? Like maybe
I mean,
it could
I
have been
just
at a
know
quarter
looking.
full, and if it's 3/4 full, then like how many seats were open?
Enough. I mean, I'm not sure how they were selling that room, but if you had to ask me, they were selling 3/4 of the building anyway, because all the seats on the same side as where the hard cam was were open. So I don't even think they were selling those seats. And then we were sitting there and the show's getting ready to go on the air and a whole row fills in behind us. And then like 2 minutes after that row fills in, people come to the row and they're like, "Do you guys have these seats? Because we have them." And they were like, "Well, they told us to come here." I guess they were seat fillers, right? Like they had people to fill seats and then they had to bounce. You know what I mean? So they had people to fill the seats for the camera in certain spaces, and when they weren't, I guess, filling seats, they were sitting on the same side as where the camera was. I mean, so there were still tickets to be sold. It wasn't like when we went to see Dynamite there in January.
Well, I think it's easier to sell a Wednesday night show at 8:00 versus. I mean, what'd you guys sit through Dark and Dark Elevation too?
Yeah, I don't know how they cut it up because I didn't get to see either of those shows this week, but I think from some of the like news stories I read, some of it was Elevation and some of it was regular Dark. And I think that's basically the same thing that happened last week. Everything's just branded Dark. It's not branded Dark Elevation. So I don't know how they were cutting it up for Monday or Tuesday night. But yeah, so that's how the show goes. It starts at 8. In some cases, I don't remember if it was Connecticut or this week, but it started slightly before 8:00, and then it goes till, I don't know, like 9:30, quarter to 10, and then they switch everything over to Rampage, and then you have the live Rampage show, and then after that, that's it.
I mean, that's the other thing. They like kind of just went live with these Rampages, and they're in markets that they've already tapped out. So I'm not like all that surprised. But to Matt's point, like Shibata wrestling should be a bigger deal than like 10:00 on a Friday night. Like that should be a very, very big deal.
But maybe
I have
they
a
also
feeling that
didn't
was on
know-
purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they didn't know what they were gonna get out of him, so they figured we put it on Friday night at 10:00. People tune in if he looks like shit. He looks like shit. It's not a Wednesday night at 8:00. You know.
I guess, but I feel like even if someone looks like shit and they're as important to wrestling as Shibata, you should just
Maybe,
like Muto's
it
not
was
going to
the
be putting
only-
on classics in this retirement run. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, but maybe it was also the only availability for him. I mean, we
Could
don't.
be
We
that.
also don't know that.
could be that, or they're like you said, trying to push tickets and it just didn't do the job. Like that's all a catch-22, right? So
I mean, I thought it was a good match. I mean, live it played out well in front of me. You know, and again, I just sort of thought if they were going to do something with Shibata to get to Danielson, that would happen in a New Japan ring. And you know,
can someone take care? Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, and basically, you know, that's how you get to it, right? But you know, it didn't. So I just don't know what the whole point was. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm with you.
I mean, I think the point was Shibata said he wanted to wrestle Danielson and Orange Cassidy, and so he wrestled Orange Cassidy, and he'll wrestle Danielson later. Because like, is Orange Cassidy gonna have a title reign other than this? Like, I guess we'll see. And how's the rest of the like Rampage experience in AC?
It was, you know, it was good. Listen, I think I said it after Connecticut, but the live Rampage shows are actually fun. Like, I don't feel like I got cheated out of my money. You know what I mean? Like, the dark tapings are pretty good. You know, and in some cases, like with Athena, you know, they're sort of advancing that story on the darks. So, you know, you see it sort of play out live. And, you know, again, you see local talent in the area. You know, there was definitely local talent in Connecticut that the crowd was drawn to. But obviously, you know, here in New Jersey, you know, I saw LSG, you know, we saw Fala. So it was a lot of the local talent. I mean, the rest of the actual experience was good, and I thought that the Rampage show was pretty fun. So, it was a good experience. And then sort of like when we went to Dynamite on the Wednesday, there were a bunch of people around the hotel. Clearly not as many as there were at the Dynamite show, because that's a 2-hour, show with the whole talent roster. The Friday night is not intended to have the entire roster sort of there. So there were some people walking around, but it also, thinking back to our Dynamite, me and Mrs. Money were basically saying, like, there's so much more here now to do because it's a Friday night. Like the clubs were in the hotel were open, so there was a lot of people sort of like going to the clubs and whatnot. And
Did you go
a
to
lot
the,
of
the clubs?
No, although I think it was what night was it that night? I think the club is something like Boogie Nights or something like that. It's sort of supposed to be like a 70s disco. I think it was some sort of weird like MILF and Cub night. It was
You
very
didn't
weird.
go?
No, and you can't even really walk by to see what's going on because they have everything roped off, and it's like this is the VIP entrance and this is the general entrance, and you have to be dressed to impress and all that kind of stuff. So like it couldn't even like look and see what was going on inside.
I mean, I can't imagine you of all people weren't dressed to impress. We saw your Macho Man look.
Yeah, that didn't make it to Atlantic City.
No,
Oh,
I didn't notice you as a cub, a little skinny cub that you are now.
The cub, yeah, I guess I could have passed off as a cub.
Your wife is turning into a MILF.
Turning into is.
I mean,
Yeah, but there's like an age range, so I think she's just entering the age range for it.
She makes me uncomfortable when she talks about like her butt in the Discord, and I don't know how to react because like that's my buddy's wife.
Oh,
and I don't want to be like, yeah, nice ass, because my wife is also in the Discord, but I don't want to be like, boo to your.
just say Sunny Kiss would be proud. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, we didn't run into Sunny Kiss, Matt.
I know. Look, I was trying, dude. I'm trying to help you out.
I know. We didn't run into her. We passed somewhere and saw her, like, Chicky and Pete's or something, eating with a whole bunch of pizza, and then we didn't run into her again. So.
Oh. And do you want me to steer the ship since you were asleep? Do you want me to run through?
Say that again. My shit froze again. Say it again.
Oh, I was just saying, do you want me to steer the ship since you were asleep? Like run through the rest of Rampage and Dynamite?
If you want to run through Rampage, that's fine. I can talk about Dynamite.
Okay, cool. I didn't know what.
Did you fall asleep or not? What happened?
I was in and out.
Tell me a story. Entertain me. Entertain me, monkey man.
That was it. I don't have a story. I was in and out, and then the computer was restarted because it apparently updated Windows. Now half of this stuff doesn't want to work, and I think I have a problem with my wireless router I've been having since last night, trying to get in and fix it. But every time I go into the app on my phone, it tells me to log in, and it won't let me log in, and that's where we are. So
cool. Are you gonna have a meltdown?
No,
please.
Why would I have a meltdown?
I don't know. I think it'd be entertaining.
No, I can tell you where I almost came to a meltdown, Matt. It was
yes.
I was texting you during Rampage, and I was like, these motherfuckers with the signs in front of me, and they kept holding the sign up at like points in time during dark, which I didn't, you don't care about because it's dark, right? It's not the TV show. But then like there was some point towards the end of that Shibata match too, where they held up their signs, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Put this shit down. Like, we are not that close where you can be on TV. Put your sign down.
This is what happens when you're not in the suite. This is why we had to upgrade to the suite life.
That's right.
Of Zach and Cody.
Yeah, how's that going? What's you got any news for me?
We're catered,
Yeah,
and I'm just trying to get the digital tickets. That's it.
Trying to get this guy fucking moving mountains for me. I had all the fucking Rob and his Bullet Club friends harassing me at the New Japan show. Where my tickets?
Well, that's your fault for going to the New Japan show with Bullet Club Rob.
It was a free ticket, man. I couldn't turn it down.
Oh, all right.
Get this burger with pastrami on it. It was okay.
It was
yeah.
Okay, where was that?
Impressed. Juniors.
No, where
did you get the cheesecake?
I did bring home a slice of cheesecake for the wife. The Palladium in Times Square.
How is that venue? It's new.
It's actually it was very cool. It was a very cool setup for the wrestling.
Nice.
Cool.
That's so
Yeah, I haven't been to a show there yet, but I'm like keeping my eye on it because it seems like it's in a good spot. Is that the old TRL building? Like where the MTV studio was? You have no idea.
I have no-
Should I know?
Is it in Times Square, and is the building the same one that they had the MTV studio in?
I have no idea.
Well,
It was over by the theaters. I drove past the
I'm
fountain.
sorry, by the what?
The theaters.
Theaters.
Oh, okay.
I drove past the mini theater and I parked near the theater.
I love proper Matt.
Matt is one classy motherfucker.
Seriously.
It's true.
Nothing ever changes.
It's true. Should we dive into Rampage?
I thought we just
Further?
talked about Rampage.
We
Yeah, I
didn't
thought we
talk
were in
about
the middle of
the
talking about
rest of it. We didn't
About
talk about Dr. Britt
about
Baker,
board show?
DMD, and Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue and Madison Rain, which I thought was pretty good.
Oh,
I
hold on.
just am like, is there a women's tag division coming? Because if not, this is weird. Oh, bye, Matt.
Well, he's staying. He took a phone call. He's just too cool for
A
us.
phone call. Oh.
Fuck you.
But it's just they're pushing a lot of women's tag. So if they have a division, that's cool. If not, I don't like using tag wrestling only as a device for singles wrestling. Feels very WWE. But I do like that Britt and Jamie won, and that set up a match between Sky and Hayter today. Like, we are seeing storytelling in the women's division that's consistent and makes sense. So that's refreshing. But I thought this match was a whole lot of fun. Sky Blue, like, she worked a lot in this match. She's really good for how young she is. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I think I said it last week. I thought it was weird how Britt Baker, in like the backstage segment, like the interview segment, she was kind of like, "We're the best women's tag team in the world." I was like, "Why would you say that when there's no tag division?"
There it is. There's no tag division, and like, how can you say in the world when you don't really face any other teams?
Right. So yeah, that was the part I thought was weird, but the match was perfectly fine.
How was the Cooley in person?
I mean, it's always a 10.
Okay.
Which
love to
one?
hear it.
I mean, any of them, really?
And Jamie Hayter, though, was the... I tell you, when I saw her on the cruise, it was like I had an 80s rom-com moment. Like, pink fuzzy border appeared around her face. Like, she's so beautiful.
For whatever reason, when you said 80s rom-com, I went to It's Always Sunny in the Day Bow Bow song. Day Bow Bow. Day Bow Bow. Chicka, chicka, chicka.
Yeah, Ryan, it's if you haven't seen Jamie Hayter in person, it's impressive in person, live and in living color.
Yeah, you guys see that up close.
You don't even need to be up close, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's not a bad day at the office. That's all.
No. But that match was fun.
That match was really fun. It's nice to see like some consistent stories in the women's division. So that's refreshing. And then there's even non-title stories, which is good, and more women's talent being used, which is great. So all of my complaining for 3 years is coming to a halt, which is wonderful news.
Well,
yeah, and I mean they're sort of advancing the stories with this group, like the way I think we talked about last week. We thought that they would, and we saw that tonight. So
yeah, it's good. Like everything's paying off for pretty much everyone that's involved. So that is refreshing. And then Ricky Starks came out and said he was in this eliminator tournament. And since you were there live, I got to know, how did the Gucci slides look in person? And how did the pearls look in person?
Everything, all fashion choices were perfect.
We love it.
Everything was perfect about his fashion choices and that promo. And I will tell you this, the room reacted well to it. So good. What's good is that, we've been saying, like to see more Ricky Starks on television. And, when he gets put in front of the live crowd, to run a promo like that and the crowd reacts well, that's, obviously a great sign. So That promo was well, but Kate, you skipped over one thing that I actually just wanted to talk about. They had the backstage Jericho Sammy Guevara interview.
Yes.
Basically where Jericho like Regal had said to Jericho basically like, why don't you put that on the line against Danielson or Claudio, the Ring of Honor title. And Jericho basically says, I'll do you one better. We'll have a 4-way match, between, myself, Sammy, Danielson, and Castagnoli. And he basically says like, Sammy will do the right thing after they get rid of Claudio and Brian. And then sort of like, Sammy was almost like, he gave that look as like, really, will I? Like, I just sort of was surprised that is going to happen at Full Gear. It seems like they'd want to maybe do something like that at Death Before, or not, is it Death? No, Final Battle. Sorry, I was going to say Death Before Dishonor. Final Battle. So I was just, I don't know about you guys. I was a little confused at that because I'm like, why are we doing this at Full Gear? It seems like it would be perfect for Final Battle, but there's other conspiracy theories about what we'll get at Final Battle.
I think I liked it because it was one of the few scenarios that I've seen where a fatal 4-way actually made sense. And I like Jericho and Sammy Guevara being the shake and bake of their team. Like, I think that's a really good story of like, well, of course Sammy Guevara is going to help me win. And also that it's Guevara and not Daniel Garcia, I think is a very intentional move. So I actually like the idea that a fatal 4-way makes sense because I feel like triple threats and fatal 4-ways oftentimes don't, where this time like Jericho's trying to even the numbers game, right? So I actually thought that was a whole bunch of fun. I'm just hoping they got a plan with whatever this is, because I don't have a problem with it happening at Full Gear if something else is coming behind it, and I'm certainly not going to complain about the caliber of talent in that match. I mean, my goodness, but like, how many times are we going to see these two factions face each other in some sort of permutation? Matt, the young man in the front.
Yeah, question. Do you prefer when they come from behind or when they come in the front?
I can tell you this much. Kate doesn't care because there's no protection being used anyway. She told us that.
I mean, hypothetically, but
does it matter if it's Ocho or if like Ocho and above, they got to come from behind, but if it's below Ocho, you're in the front.
I would think the reverse of that, but that's just me on that.
I mean, I'm just throwing things against the wall, whatever sticks. So
Ocho length or width.
When there's 4 dudes involved, it's like they're really just coming at you from all angles. So I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah, it's a good call.
It's a lot to handle. So
that's an airtight argument. I'll tell you that much.
For the title, do you prefer 1-on-1 or are you okay with the 4-way?
For the title, I would say 1-on-1. Like, let's stay focused. Let's tell a good story in there. If the gold is on the line, I would prefer 1-on-1 in that situation.
And then after the match, you want them to come from behind or you want to face to face?
I mean, if there's some sort of like pull apart situation, I don't know, but I don't know. It just kind of depends what mood I'm in, I guess. Like,
do you honor the code of honor?
Of course.
Okay.
I have all of my
faculties.
Shenanigans under pure rules.
I'm just surprised that when it's 1-on-1 or when the gold's on the line, she prefers it to be 1-on-1. But when she's just looking to have, a good time, a good experience, the more the merrier, it seems like.
Kate, I'm a little concerned about this idea of everything under the pure rules. Do you recall the pure rules? There's a lot of
open mouth kisses.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of
it's very dangerous. It's not very
grabs. Yeah.
Maybe if you're not as elite as I am, it's dangerous, but I'm a fucking professional. So
are you dressed up as a dragging, singing, Shut Up and Dance?
I might.
All right.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So I don't know if any of you guys saw the theories now around the possible match at Final Battle is that I guess in when you go back and look at the video package they put together to sell that pay-per-view, Samoa Joe does the voiceover, right? And then there's a montage
Montage.
He had a montage.
There you go. There's a montage that includes Samoa Joe, Taven Bennett, Maria Kanellis, Garcia, FTR, Gates of Agony. There's a whole bunch of people, but there's also a few shots of Jay Briscoe. But Mark Briscoe is absent from that montage. So, some people are saying that perhaps it's telling that Jay is in that video package by himself, because possibly maybe he gets the title shot at Final Battle because he's a 2-time world champion.
Maybe, but like CM Punk was in the one the week before, so I'm not gonna put too much stock in that.
Yeah, well, they're still selling CM Punk merch, so it doesn't matter.
Good
They're
on
just trying
them.
to make
Make
their
that
money.
money.
I got my ice cream bar figures the other day. My CM
Nice.
Punk figures.
Nice.
Listen, while he's under
might have.
contract, sell his
I got a
merch.
package this week. I didn't open it.
How do you not open it? What's wrong with
It's
you?
been a busy week, dude.
No. So it was like, dude, are you okay? Do you need a drink? You want me to come over?
No, please don't come over.
Why?
'Cause
You
it's
know,
late.
Anthony signs all his emails, Anthony Rusinello, MB, like Matt Bowman. It's pretty cool. I never, it just dawned upon me.
No, it's
That's
signed
sweet.
NBA
Matt
It's
Bowman's
like-
from
ass.
my
That's even
professional
worse.
account.
Matt Bowman Associates.
So you have a stable, Matt Bowman is.
Yeah, I didn't even know because Anthony used to always call me boss.
Holy
And then I guess
shit!
it
That
just-
actually would be perfect for wrestling.
He just took it upon himself, and I was flattered.
I love it.
I want to send him like a not a Hello Fresh. What's the edible arrangement? I'll send you an edible arrangement.
What's that edible fruit arrangement? Oh, edible arrangement.
You can tell I'm not I'm not a fancy man like that.
No.
Hey,
Really
Aunt,
Yeah.
do you have dreams?
I mean, I'm not a robot. Of course I have dreams.
Oh, we're due for another trip. We're so fucking
I need one. I really, really, really want to go on another ROH road trip so bad, or any wrestling road trip. Should we round out Rampage? Should we quickly talk
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
Gates of Agony and Wardrobe? Which this was a fun match. It kind of, I didn't love it though. To me, this match was a little bit too agented. Now after tonight, it makes more sense. But it felt like it was.
Did you say too agented?
Yeah, it's too agented. It was all around Wardlow. It was all agented around one guy.
Yeah, he's the TNT champion.
Yeah, I get that, but I just thought it was gonna be I was hyped up for a big.
And he put out a video featuring Genuine Pony. Because if you're horny, let's do it. You didn't see it, the tweet?
Oh, I did.
He knows what he's about.
Said he's
Wait, are you
being-
horny, Schlong?
Well, I
for
mean,
for Wardlow?
for Wardlow, have you
Just
seen him
generally.
pop those pecs?
You don't have to necessarily out who you're horny for.
I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna tell you who it's for.
For Wardlow, really, out of all the beautiful meat that's on AEW TV.
Have you seen Wardlow?
Schlong did say he likes big, meaty men slapping meat.
You seen
it.
one though, you seen them all.
Have you seen him pop those pecs?
It's, I've been watching wrestling for 30 years. I've seen a lot of people pop their pecs.
I feel like Matt's tag team with Ant would be the beautiful meat.
We could do better.
I think so too. It's a start, but I wouldn't settle on it.
No. Discharge flip flops.
Hold on a second.
Discharge.
Gate,
flip-
do you
So
wanna read
anyway,
this
the
one?
match was not my favorite. Sometimes I feel too agented, but not agented. It was just I thought because Gates of Agony was the younger team coming in, we were gonna get to see all four of them shine, and I feel like this was all set up around Wardlow. Obviously tonight that kind of paid off in a way,
Mhm.
but I was just hoping this was gonna be a bigger main event. All these dudes colliding in the ring, but it just felt very much only a
Hey,
Wardlow
you know who also
spotlight.
is a beautiful man?
Who?
Khan, however you say his name.
Khan's never had a fucking carb in his life.
No, he
Fucking
is
beautiful, man.
He doesn't know what
My
bread
God.
is.
Chiseled.
He and
out of
Kojima.
marble.
Opposite direction.
Yes, Kojima's the bread club.
Yeah.
No, I am the bread club.
You're the bread club.
Excellent,
Kojima
excellent
loves
show last weekend. I mean, I know you guys are watching AEWs and it's a great product, but man, that New Japan show Saturday was fucking phenomenal. If you have time, don't watch Raw, don't watch fucking SmackDown, don't watch NXT. You
No,
could
I
you
love.
could just watch Uzi clips all day. You don't have to watch fucking 2 hours worth of bullshit.
But it's the Triple H era, Matt.
That's fine. That's great, buddy. That's good. You know, if you could find Impact, maybe you give that a check. But the New Japan show was really, really good.
What about
I love when
NWA?
What about it? It's a
Ooh.
fucking dumpster fire.
But there's so much drama, man.
It's the fucking dumbest shit. It only gets worse. We talked about it Monday night on the Shining Wizards Wrestling podcast. And then Billy Corgan's out here fucking running his gums all day yesterday. I don't know what Nick Aldis is doing. He thinks it's a shoot. It's a work. I'm an idiot. Tell a friend. Tyrus is in the main event.
Tyrus.
I'm going to go
I
on
love
tour.
when-
My car keys.
I love when I see the Wizards podcast handle start tweeting New Japan because you love it so much. And then it reminds me to go check it out. But like, anytime you're sitting down to live tweet a New Japan event, I'm like, there's going to be some excited tweets coming across my timeline.
I put the laptop down last Saturday night.
It's the best.
I just watched it. I enjoyed it. It was just a great show.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to try and start watching the Japanese ladies, the Stardom.
You are.
I think it's going to be like a whole thing. It might be like bonus content. Like I just make Tony and Kevin watch Stardom with me.
Oh,
What about the ice ribbon?
Dude, one thing at a time. I can't keep Ice Ribbon, Choco Pro. I don't know any of this shit. Someone already commented on the Bread Club, like, how are you not into Mayu Iwatani? She's the best. And I'm like, I'm not. She wrestled with a tail. I don't even know. What?
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Maybe
I
we
only
have it
mention
wrong.
ice ribbon because I feel like that's such a weird name for a wrestling
It is
promotion.
very weird.
Sounds like ice skating.
Does not sound like wrestling, I'll tell you that.
Doesn't.
Can I say something about post Rampage?
Of course.
Yeah. Tell me a story. Entertain me.
Not really any stories. I know I was texting you guys. We had a few sightings. Saw the invisible hand walking around the Tropicana, Mr. Don Callis.
The Jackal.
Yeah. Gina thought it was weird because he just looked like a normal guy. And I was like, yeah, it does take you out of it a little bit. But it certainly saw Dandy Don walking around. Thought that was interesting.
Did you ask him to 69 you?
I did not. Did not. We also...
I did, and then he asked me how I got in his room. It was very weird.
Oh.
You are
You were there?
horny on the main today, Ryan.
Really? You would want Don Callis to 69 you?
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Maybe just for the story.
There's so
Exactly.
many other people, though, you could have a better story with.
I mean, you're assuming I'd say no to them. I wouldn't say no.
Serious, open book, buddy.
There it is.
Yeah.
So we saw Don
Beggars
Callis
can't be
walk-
choosers.
Would you don the Brian Myers mask?
It's the Brian Myers mask.
It's the one that Kevin puts on all the ladies he brings home.
No, even I have standards.
No, that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Sorry, Ant. Didn't mean to cut you off. Can't see you, so don't know when you're going to talk.
No, I know. It's like when Ryan isn't on camera. I know now how the other side feels. We saw legit Layla walking around too.
All right. Nice.
Nice to see. I guess her leg is doing better.
All
She
right.
wasn't using any sort of crutch or cane or wearing a boot or any sort of brace that was visible. So looks good for legit Layla. And then we were walking around, needed a bite to eat late after the show. So there's, you guys know, in that little French Quarter like plaza, there's a little pizza joint. We pulled in there, Saw Dalton Castle hanging out, waiting for a pizza. Saw Keith Lee there as well, waiting for his order. He is a large man. But nobody as large as Satnam Singh, because we were in line waiting for something, and I turned around at one point and I was just like, holy shit. He is very large. And it was the one thing that me and Mrs. Money said. I actually feel worst for him for a couple reasons. It's like, how does this dude exist on the road? Right? Because like he's not going to fit in a bed anywhere unless I guess maybe he sleeps, diagonal. But the other thing too is you can't hide. There's nothing you can do to hide who you are. You can't take off height. You can take off, face paint, a mask, all that sort of stuff. But dude, he was feet above like the soda coolers that were there. Like, just my God, that dude is legit a giant. It was impressive.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Wait, who's this?
I just put a mask on. I didn't even
Kind of ruins the whole mystique.
You know who it is. I didn't turn my camera off. I didn't do anything fun. I had to get the mask off, so I said I'll put a
I
mask.
thought you were gonna get like a gimmick.
Like, you want me to do this one?
Last time you had a hood on, you turned the lights off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Creepy ass.
Slowly coming into and out of focus.
So creepy.
It is
Da,
so creepy.
da, 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 da.
Is that better?
Yes.
Talk about pizza, please.
That was the
Large
end.
man. I don't feel bad for the large man. Feel bad for Andre the Giant.
No, I mean, makes you understand sort of, I guess, any of those dudes, the guys who are larger than the average person. But it was just really
bear?
like, I suppose so, Schlong. But like it was.
What do you think his dumps look like? Like
I don't even want to.
like you
I
go
don't even.
you go up in them hotel rooms. Them toilets ain't big. Those showers, those bathrooms aren't big. That
No,
guy has
I don't even know how it's possible. I mean, for him, it's got to be like squatting at all times because it's, dude, he is gigantic. I'm trying to think of other people I've seen, basketball players, other athletes, like I remember seeing Frank Thomas back in the day when he was still playing. He was big, but I can't even compare anybody else I've ever seen live and in person to Satnam Singh. I mean, the dude is.
Well, he's 7'5", they
ridiculously
said,
tall.
right? That's insane.
And I honestly think it's not. I don't think it's a lie. If they maybe add a couple inches, fine. But no,
I mean, that's what I do.
he's fucking giant.
I heard you saw your girl without her makeup on too.
Oh, that's right, Abaddon. Yeah, that was sort of weird.
Did it ruin it for you?
No, she still
bet
looks good.
She's a pretty nice lady.
Didn't stop her and talk to her. So she seemed nice. But yeah, saw her at a gimmick that was sort of funny.
What's worse, her at a gimmick or the dinosaur at a gimmick?
That's a good question. I'll at least say this: when the dinosaur's at a gimmick, he sort of, unless you really kind of know what you're looking for, or if you know what he looks like at a gimmick, he can kind of just coast through, right? Like when we saw them back in January, like I think I saw him a couple times and then I was like, oh, that's Luchasaurus. But like
he looks like a dude that would want to pretend to be a dinosaur.
Yeah, he sort of does. But again, Abaddon, with half red hair or whatever she's got going on, and she's got some distinct facial piercings, it's sort of easy to tell, who she is. So you can sort of pick her out of the crowd. But we also saw Danhausen walking through with no makeup, and I said to Mrs. Money, I was like, "Hey, Danhausen," and she's like, "No," and I was like, "Yes." It's like that's 100% Danhausen.
Well, I had to call a lie on that. What you actually did was see him in human makeup.
That's very
Fair
true.
point.
I'm sorry. You're
Fair
right.
point.
He had on his human makeup so we wouldn't recognize his vampire form. Yes.
Makes sense. Story tracks.
Would you have known Sheeta if you had run into her, since you're never really familiar? Well, hello,
Probably not. Probably just think she was some other lady walking around to gamble at the casino.
some other Asian lady. You could say it. It's fine.
Didn't say it. Just said some other lady gambling at the casino. Maybe drinking. Maybe going to MILF and Cub night or whatever it was called.
Man, I can't believe we missed out on MILF and Cub night.
Well, this weekend it's Hot for Teacher. They're doing Hot for Teacher night because the teachers convention is down there.
I bet you they all look like David Lee Roth.
At this point, maybe. Sure.
And did you win any money?
Nope. Didn't gamble.
Nelly! That's Nelly, right?
It is.
Yeah, it is. Hi, Nelly.
She can't. You know, I have headphones on, right?
Yeah, why you put the cat on the screen? What am I supposed to do? Oh, hello, Nelly. Great
Matt,
to
put
see
the
you.
headphones on her so we can talk to her.
Yeah, please. Put them on her butt.
She's like, I've had enough of that.
She wasn't feeling it. Come on,
Talk to
man.
the real star of the show.
The butthole.
Look, I'm just filling in until my wife gets home with my Taco Bell. So
Taco Bell, look at that.
Ooh.
I didn't feel like cooking tonight, man.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying Taco Bell, good stuff.
Oh, she's on the way. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
What'd you
Oh,
get?
Yeah, what'd you order?
I got the chalupa chicken chalupa supreme combo with a crunchy taco, Mountain Dew, and an order of chicken quesadillas.
Mountain Dew at this hour?
Regular Baja Blast.
Regular. At this hour, Kate, I'm going to be up like 2:00 in the morning.
In this
This
economy?
I'm up every night till like 2:00 in the morning. Come on, Nelly, get down.
Now, Matt, here's an important question.
Yes, sir.
Is that your entire order that you're going to absolutely eat?
Yes, that's all. Look, I have known to order way too much. So I definitely just
Because
tone-
that's the reason for the question is because sometimes the game plan with Taco Bell is you order more than you think you're going to eat just in case because you never know how it's going to go.
Yeah, no, I ordered just what I wanted because I will eat. I will just continue to eat until I feel like I'm going to explode.
Okay.
Nelly, come on, man. Stop it. Dang it.
It's been so long since we saw Nelly.
I know, but she's like she's a lot, man. She's just going through some stuff too.
She
Oh,
is?
boy.
What's going
I
on with
don't know.
Nelly?
Sometimes she doesn't poop in the litter box.
Oh no, kind of like you. She's like,
I've been-
I've seen Dad shit his pants right next to the toilet. I'm gonna not quite make it to the litter
yeah,
box.
and you know what? We haven't had any issues there since. Okay.
I'm glad. I'm just saying, maybe it's a learned habit. Oh my gosh, hi
No.
Tom.
Who's Tom?
Psycho
Milwaukee's
Tom.
Who's Psycho Tom?
You know, Psycho Tom in the
You don't-
chat.
Did I sit next to him at AEW?
No, that was my friend Brian that you did not recognize at all.
Well, he had a mask on and he wasn't near me.
I know. It was just very funny.
I'm funny.
Well, especially funny because you walked away saying, "Thanks for introducing us to your friend, Kate."
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was like
I had no idea who he was.
you met him already.
I also drank like fucking 100 of those fucking lemonades. I was pretty ripped.
You were tuned up.
I was
Tuned
feeling
up
good.
the band.
Very tuned up.
I was feeling good. Well, I didn't get to see Dynamite, so I don't want to ruin it for myself.
No, that's okay
No?
because we're kind of at commercial break time anyway.
You guys still play a commercial?
Of course.
We
So maybe
do.
I could try to get this camera to work.
Did you? And I know you don't go in the Discord much, but
No.
T Donk he's more than willing to haggle with you over the network.
I've been in contact with somebody. I guess it's not his people, so I'd better recalibrate my discussion because we were almost through to a deal. So I don't know what I was buying.
Yeah, because there was I got a lot on my mind. I got a lot of things I want to fix. So, it came up in a conversation with Tony, and I said,
Got
"Well, these are
money
the
on my
parameters.
mind.
We gotta trim a lot of the fat."
Well, we've already, I mean, if you had been here for the past few weeks, we've been talking about the fact that we are going to trim a lot of fat.
Yep, that's the
Charge
plan.
will be-
$8.
It will be, yeah, there will be a subscription fee.
Really?
we are going to, from day one, we're going to decimate everything. It will be very much like Warner Brothers, Discovery, HBO Max. We are just going to start slashing things before they even hit the screen. We're going to be like, oh, this movie that we spent $44 billion on, cancel.
Out.
Not happening.
Wow. Cool.
You guys are still that. I don't know if you need to, well, I guess spill it here for you, Matt, so you're aware. We're still not decided on what'll happen to the Shining Wizards. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on the fringe.
You are on the fringe.
I'll tell you, it doesn't look good for you that Tony didn't show up tonight.
Yeah, starting to question his commitment.
To be fair, he said he didn't want to invite himself, so people shouldn't expect him to show up.
Yeah, what is
I
this?
invited him.
Why an open invite?
You could
I
talk
don't
to
like
your buddy
that.
Ryan over there, throwing
like that.
out in the Shining Wizards chat.
I put the open invite out there.
I don't like that.
I'm allowed to do it.
I didn't say that. I said I don't like that.
He was very angry about Dynamite, even though he doesn't watch AEW at all.
Yeah,
and
he's a boomer. He's drinking out of hoses.
I couldn't understand his anger. And he said, I will come on to discuss it. Well, I can't invite myself. And I said, the invite is always there. You're more than welcome to come on, and we will have a discussion.
Maybe Ant is big timing us next week. You and I can invite Tony on.
Yeah. He didn't like that. I actually agreed with Kevin that while Tony is more than welcome to have an opinion, there is a ranking of opinion between someone who actually watches the show and someone who doesn't watch. Because it's very hard to trust an opinion for someone who's only ever read like a recap.
Yes.
What was his opinion?
And I disagreed with that just to make everybody else angry.
Oh, I knew what you were doing. I was laughing.
I'm good at it.
What was the opinion he had for someone who doesn't watch the show?
He thinks his opinion is just as equally valid as someone who does watch the show.
No, but what was the opinion?
That it's all garbage.
It's all garbage. The guy who thinks MLW is a great show.
Yeah, but my point being is like you can read something and say, you know what, that doesn't sound good or doesn't sound for me. 100%. But you cannot sit there and argue that it's complete garbage when you haven't watched it.
That's very true. Matt,
if you want to hear the conversation, you can go over to shiningwizards.com or find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Episode 610. It's just the three of us. And you can find out more about Brian Myers' Mask. Is the name of the episode.
Matt, before you leave, Asian Joe wants to know your thoughts on his FMK that he put in the chat. We'll throw it up here. Matt's love of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tony's love of NWA, or Ryan's love of positivity.
Who's doing the FMK?
You. It can't be Matt. He's in it.
Well, this is what Asian Joe said. Before Matt leaves, I'm interested in hearing everyone's thoughts. So that includes Matt. I want to get Matt's thoughts first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to... Oh, man. I'm going to marry my love for New Japan. I'm going to kill Tony's love for NWA. And I'm going to fuck Ryan's positivity.
Damn straight you are.
I'm going to go, I would marry Matt's love of New Japan. This is kind of a more shocking upset. I think I would fuck Tony's love of NWA because it's going to just be like it's going to be a hell of a time. All right, we're going to get...
Yeah, not a good one, though, from what we've seen.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, the show is bad, but Tony's love for it, it's kind of rough. It's kind of fun. We see.
Oh, yeah, his love
what's going on there.
His love for NWA is ticking clock, Berserker.
Fair. Ryan's love of positivity. I'm gonna kill that off.
Ryan's too positive. Like,
sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, when we're done, he like gets up and he's just sitting on like a chair of skulls, like human heads that he's murdered.
No, that's just too much work. But here's what I'm gonna say.
Matt watches a lot of serial killer stuff.
I'm going to fuck Matt's love of NJPW because while he does love it, he only watches it sporadically and tweets about it sporadically, so it would only be occasional fucking. I'm going to kill Tony's love of NWA, and you marry my love of positivity because my positivity will always be there to carry you on your dark days.
Just you know what? I'm over the tweeting about it because it takes away from the watching. So I don't like to tweet while I watch.
I'm just saying.
I like them apples, Ryan. I watch it a lot more than I watch anything else.
Yeah, but that's very low bar.
No question. No question. That's not true. I watch a shitload of primetime wrestling. I fall asleep to it every night. Oh, Nelly just fell off the table.
Sounds about right. I'm with Kate's FMK, to be honest.
Nice.
You know how I know Ryan's making faces and stuff, but I very rarely agree with Kate on a lot of stuff. So she wins.
I'm sorry, I'm so positive and like things.
See, you just killed your own positivity by being negative right now. So you're actually on our side.
How does when you do other podcasts, Ryan? How does the positivity does it show well or?
I think so because I'm critical.
Okay.
I will make a criticism. I just at the end of the day choose to like what I watch, so I don't get, for Kate, sour. I choose to enjoy what I'm viewing.
Okay.
Otherwise, why are we watching it?
I mean, you should pick out the negative things.
I am critical. I will tell you the things I don't like. But I overall will say, I'm going to try to sell myself on everything because otherwise, if it's all stuff I don't like, I'm just not going to watch.
That's
All the
fair.
shit I can do.
I feel like you can still like a majority of stuff and criticize other things.
Right? I hate House of Torture, but I still watch New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I've been very critical of the women's division of AEW.
Ah, join the fucking club, buddy.
I have said that I don't want Jeff Jarrett on the TV beyond this Full Gear.
Yeah, but you put him on our show.
Well, that's to troll Kate. But if he's on there beyond Full Gear,
you got to pick a game, bro. You're either simping on Kate on Twitter or you're trolling her on the show. Pick a side, man.
No, how dare you try to back me into a corner? Fuck you. I am who I want to be.
You put Jeff Jarrett behind you. You did this to yourself, buddy.
I am who I want to be.
No, it would be awesome if Jeff Jarrett was like in mid guitar swing and it looked like
I tried to find one that could do that and I couldn't.
Spend my days working hard on
anyway, commercials and stickers and stuff.
Kate, maybe you said it before. Maybe you said it before, Kate. But
I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
If I was logged in, I would take Ryan off the screen. I'm just saying. Aunt, your thoughts?
My question for you, Kate, was how was commentary this weekend, and did you work in your phrase?
I did work in Yowza Yowza. Commentary was actually really great this weekend. I was the most comfortable I felt, I think, doing it, and the card was pretty good. Like there were actually stories this time around. So that was really good. And then Dan Barry was there, so it was like someone I knew, so that was nice. And I did say Yowza Yowza. I forget what spot. But I did make sure to get
I can confirm I was listening. She did say Yowza Yowza.
Matt, we get it. You have the Shining Wizards podcast. You can go to www.shiningwizards.com. I think
for now.
We're going to play a whole commercial.
I was just fucking with that because he would take it down and I put it back.
No, I know. That's what made this whole thing fun.
Oh, God.
Oh. Well,
it was fun.
We can play commercials. I'm going to try to get this camera to work.
All right, I'm going to go have dinner with my wife, and I had a really good time with you guys.
Go eat that taco, Matt.
I'm going to smash that taco, son.
Just watch out if there's a little too much cheese on that taco.
There will be no discharge, my friend.
Steal a base, smash a taco.
That's I know that Anthony's not going to be around next week. Maybe, we get Tony in, Kevin in.
I would enjoy having Tony and Kevin on this show.
Being very aggressive.
Where's the butt? Give me a butt. But
there's no butt. They just don't. They don't come on the show.
I know. I told them both today. I go, you guys could just sign into the StreamYard whenever you want.
Literally.
They'll be banned, but
Wow, look at this guy.
I mean, your suspension just lifted, so.
There were no one ever. I never got anything in the mail. I didn't get an email. There was no.
You didn't pay your fine?
I didn't even know I was fined.
That's it. You're off the rest of the show.
Listen, Kate, I hate to break it to you. The whole investigation between what happened with Matt was a farce. So
What?
He paid off the
I am
cops.
stunned.
The only thing I paid for was the suite at Full Gear. Okay, that's paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you got any tickets?
catering?
No. Looks
Not
like you
yet.
paid for something else.
Yeah, right. What the fuck, man? I got Chris's email. I'll reach out to him. If I got to go over somebody's head, I will.
There's nobody to go over. I'm getting the tickets and we'll distribute them accordingly.
All right, good.
Apparently, it's not through it's not through the Ticketmaster app. It's through some other portal.
The Devil's app, the Prudential app.
The devil's app. I can't believe Matt's settling for digital tickets, to be honest.
Well, it is what it is, Kate. I can't not.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, girls' private photos. Let me go. Come on, I wanted to see.
The catering was a nice little smack up. I was like, sure, here's what we want from catering. They were like, here's the invoice. I was like, holy fuck, that is a service charge.
You didn't see that?
I just no, I did see it, but when you actually see it all put together, you're like, that is way more.
I'll shake everybody down. Don't worry.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Oh, you hear that?
All
I'm
right.
in the same boat. I told Anthony the same thing. So I don't care if I have to pay for it. We're just going to have us a good time. Does anyone want to go to the JCW show in the afternoon in Boonton?
That
No,
same
I
day?
won't be able to make that happen.
I think the fucking crazy Japanese girl's going to be there. What's her nuts? She was on fucking AEW.
Oh, the girl who sings.
Yeah. What's her
She
face?
said, I'll pee all over you.
Makito.
Maki Ito. that's it.
Makito,
Yeah.
yeah.
Makito's going to be there. Yeah.
If other people are going, I'd consider it. That'd be fun.
I'm considering it because it's at like 1:00 and it's right up the road for me. And I think there's like Mance Warner's going to be there, and I think
Yeah,
Chris
let's go.
Heinrich and
Manser?
Tommy Rich is going to be there.
Where is it? At the high school?
I think it's at I don't know where it is.
Maybe
I
it's
can't think of
carpool
anywhere else
anyway.
in Boonton.
Let's see.
Well, if you go, then you just come to my house and then I'll drive to Prudential Center.
Come on your house, the Boonton Elks Lodge.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I think. Hold on.
Maybe Tony is on this show. Somebody just burped into the mic. It's kind of low class stuff you get on the B show, I guess.
This is what you get on the B. So says the guy who doesn't have a camera and was 15 minutes late.
So it's the
I
guy
need
who
my
shows
camera
up
work.
once every 3 months.
Yep.
Well, I was pulling an AntMoney. Okay, I pull an AntMoney. I sleep all the time.
Good for you, honestly. You earned
No, I
it.
don't know. I should be wide awake. I'm not the one who has like a fucking full-time job and a kid. Like I don't know how Ant does it, and he's up to like 2:00 in the morning every night.
Yeah, no way. Could
More
never.
power to you, buddy.
Thanks.
Could never.
You know I love you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just annoyed I can't get my camera to work.
Well, be more annoyed that your flip-flops are covered in discharge.
It's fine.
Oh, hey, you want to play the commercials?
All right. Well, I
Yeah, I've
love
been
you
trying.
guys. Thank you all for joining the Mark Order podcast. Stay tuned. Kate, Ryan, and Anthony are going to give you a great breakdown.
What
of
is he doing?
AEW Dynamite.
What is he doing?
He's running the show.
Yes, you just slipped
Yeah,
right
he's
in the
leaving.
host
Jesus
I
mode.
got to put you
Christ.
guys over before I leave. What the fuck?
What are you putting us over for?
Well, I don't know. Why not? I thought that's what friends do.
Listen, we try to put you over on Monday
That's
nights.
what
It
friends
doesn't
are
work.
for.
Monday night is a great time.
Yeah.
We got Sal Renaro this Monday from the
Mhm.
NWA. He's doing the
Okay.
weird shit with Gags the Gimp and all that weird stuff. We're going to talk about that.
I hope you tell him how much of a dumpster fire shit show it is over there.
Maybe I will.
I hope
No,
you
you
do.
won't.
You never know.
He won't.
What else did I have? Oh, Bread Club. If you're a New Japan fan, that's up on Fightful
yeah.
Overbooked. You should check that out. That's a good time.
Mm.
I did the Apron Bump podcast a couple weeks ago where we did Ring of Honor from 2003. That's a great listen.
Dad,
Jeff Hardy's only appearance in Ring of Honor.
was that also one of the Samoa Joe Punk
No, that was
Mention-
Punk Raven Dog Collar.
Raven Dog Collar? I knew it was okay. I have to check that out. I've been meaning to.
And in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, the Shining Wizards 11th anniversary show. Kate the Great and Handsome Kevin are putting together the whole show. We have no idea what it's
boy.
going to be like.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Well, you should definitely tune in because it's going to be something.
Hell yeah.
Matt, it's just me coming on singing karaoke. I should just warn you.
No, I want to have fun, so it's not. Don't worry.
I'm not.
Ryan, Kate said she wants to have fun, so she wasn't even inviting you. Well, I hate to break it to you.
Manny Crazzo! What's up, Crazzo?
Hey! Is this the Matt Vlog show?
Jesus, it might as well be. Jesus.
Well, look, I'm never around, so I got to make the most of when I jump in here.
No, we love it when you're here.
Yeah, you ever not going to be working on a Wednesday?
Probably not.
Well, that sucks.
Well, I made time to be here tonight, so maybe I'll make time next week.
Hell yeah.
That's all we can ask for.
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right, we're going to play some commercials. I'm going to try to get my camera to work. Stay tuned. Matt.
Yo.
Love you, bud. I'll be
Love
in touch.
you, buddy. You're the best. I hope you get your camera working so we can.
Yeah. See you later. All right. We'll see you.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years. But when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fist full of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the Impact player Phil Brea and the Portuguese man of war Choppy for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin.
And Vince.
Your hosts of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s, where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast, hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
Hey!
Oh my god, look at your face.
Oh my god.
You're here.
I had to download a new driver and take the camera out and plug it back in. Fucking finally.
Was it a big driver or was it a mini driver?
Oh my god.
Good to see you, pal.
You can never be critical of me again, Kate.
Sure I can. I can be a hypocrite. I do it all the time.
Fair.
Let's see. We should probably tell people where to find us on social at Mark Order Pod. On all of our socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the places at Mark Order Pod. And when you get there, click the link tree in our bios and find the links to all of our socials. We make it easy for you, but we also make it easy for you to get some free stickers. Click the button to request some free stickers. Leave us your full name, your full mailing address, the country you live in, and we'll send you out some of these Mark Order podcast stickers. Guys, remember last week how I was telling you we are international overseas in Canada?
Yes.
Ireland, guess what? We got a request from Spain.
No way.
España.
I love it.
If you're a listener, obviously we have a listener in Spain.
Yeah.
And you're on Twitter, please reach out and let me know who you are. That is awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody reaching out and getting stickers. It is very cool. I will say to you guys, it is cool when I see the requests come in and I'm like, Ireland, what the fuck? Or
Hell
especially España. That was like, I was like, what the fuck? And then the other thing I always hope for is, well, I hope I'm putting this address down on this envelope correctly because they always look weird.
It's true.
So thank you for the request. Those should be on the way. They went out last week if you haven't gotten them yet. But if you're listening in Spain, make sure you let us know that you got the stickers, tweet at us and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know if you guys are in on the joke why I'm saying Spain, but if you've ever seen Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping, you'll...
That's what it's... Okay, yeah.
In Ibiza, every day is a fiesta, They also eat paella.
Paella, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's been a minute.
So, all right, I've got the camera going. Hi.
Yeah, you do. Looking good, buddy.
Yeah, we've got spam bots tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, we do.
Saying, look at private photos. What a fucking weird night.
Wouldn't it be funny if they were private photos, but it was like, of our trip to Australia?
We went to Australia?
Our private photos of our travels abroad.
Yeah, Canada.
Look at us snorkel.
It's weird. That also just reminded me. I went to the YouTube today for something, and I guess they updated the layout and stuff like that. The only video that was on our homepage was the video montage that was put together for our trip to Baltimore. I was like, where the fuck did all of our shows go? They changed the way they have everything.
Annoying. It's laid out so stupid. I should see if we can get some non-copyright strike music underneath that and repost it.
I thought I did add freemium music to it.
Oh,
but
good.
Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
I'll check it out. Good times.
We should probably just, clip some of our own shows and put them up as clips. But that requires work.
I just got an intern on board like last week, so.
An intern for what?
To help maintain all like podcast shit, and as I'm like rebooting my business a little bit, so helping with clips.
I thought you meant for your shoot job. I'm like, they gave you an intern?
No, I could use one already, but no, it's more like for the stuff I'm trying to reboot while now having a full-time job. I was like, this is too much. I need someone to come help me out with some shit. So so I can stick mark order duties on him. But
He'll quit immediately. But
hell yeah.
She
But-
said duty.
She did say duty.
I did.
All right, let's see. Want to talk about Dynamite?
Sure.
Hold on.
No.
Jesse Ozog in the chat asking, did the sound disappear? Can everyone? You?
I hear you.
I mean, I know you. She's asking generic. So I'm asking the chat. Can someone in the chat say yes? We hear you.
We'll sit and wait in silence until somebody.
No, we'll still
tells us.
talk.
I wonder if
No,
that
no,
was
I'd like to
about-
sit in silence.
That might have been about the YouTube video that we were talking about with the copyright strike.
Yeah.
Sometimes I disappear.
Well, let's talk about Dynamite. It was a loaded episode, and we lead off with our 8-man tag team match: the Ass Boys and Swerve in Our Glory versus FTR and the Acclaimed. And before this match even gets started, Billy Gunn runs down the ring and jumps on Shane Strickland. BJ Whitmer has to come down to cool him off and talk him to go back to the back. But the match continues on, and eventually FTR and the Acclaimed win by pinfall with a lateral press from Anthony Bowens on Austin Gunn. There was a point in this match where I think the Acclaimed and FTR sort of backed into each other. They were sort of standing in the ring and they backed into each other. I thought that was fun, where they turned around on each other and was like, hey. And it was like, are you trying to do something? Nope, we're on the same team. All right, we're cool. But
Good old coexisting trope. Yeah.
Right, but clearly I think maybe they're laying some groundwork of the possibility that we're going to get a match between the two at some point. But there's a lot of other shit going on here with like FTR and the Kingdom and fucking Gates of Agony and all that other horse shit, and we still got to get past Full Gear, where we're going to get Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed 3.
Yes.
So a lot of spoons in the porridge with the stories in this match. What'd you guys think?
I thought it was a really fun way to start off the show. Like you said, there's a lot going on story-wise here. I kind of wish they had because it was just regular rules, right? Like if they had a stipulation or made a tornado tag or something, I thought that might have been a little bit more helpful. But I love it when they start off shows with high energy tag matches. Not a huge fan of like the overly multi-man matches, especially when there's like already stories going separately for these vehicles of who's involved. But no complaints about the match itself. It was a really fun, like everybody in it has a very different style. I just loved Bowens. That press at the end was awesome. But yeah, this was a fun way to kick off Dynamite. I don't feel like we needed it, but it definitely like advanced the stories that were there, and it was fun. So no complaints.
And Schlong, I think clearly you and I both know Kate's favorite part of this was the fact that clearly the Guns were featured quite heavily in this match.
She is a huge fan of the Ass Boys. First of all, the 4-man team name should be Swerving for Glorious Ass Boys. Just that's what the 4 of them name. Also, hold on. You can't tell me that they just aren't wearing Shawn Michaels trunks from like 93, 94.
Yeah, they certainly
are.
That's
it's just
on the
every
day
time I
of
see
the
them.
screw job.
Yeah, on the Shawn Michaels glorious day when he finally got his rightful position as number 1.
I'll quit right now.
Okay.
That is a quittable offense, Ryan. Let's pump the brakes on that one.
But I just had to point that out. They are definitely wearing his trunks, his old pants, his old pantaloons. So I enjoyed the match. You're right. That press was impressive. Hey, I could be a hypocrite too, Kate.
I do.
I like the way this is. Like the way this is advancing stories, and clearly we're setting up for FTR versus the Acclaimed, which is what we all really, really want. So this is just to buy time to give the Acclaimed a bit longer of a run, and then FTR can come in and take those titles.
You know what else I appreciated in this match was the fact that they mentioned FTR had just gotten back from Japan. Like they went and defended their titles in Japan. And at one point, I think Taz even said, this is really when the jet lag sets in. So they're probably a little more tired than they usually are, from traveling and defending the title. So I just appreciate little things like that with the story to try to sort of explain, maybe why FTR may be sort of underperforming where they normally would be. Just a nice little twist. Just thought I'd add that in.
That is a nice little twist.
What a twist.
And chat.
All right, let's see. We go to an interview with MJF where he was on one of the Barstool podcasts. I don't even remember which one. What?
PMT. It's like the biggest sports podcast.
I fucking hot take. I fucking hate Barstool, and I think they're all fucking trash garbage. So
even if you just look at like the rankings of podcast rankings, you'll see it. It's always number one. I don't listen to it, but it's right there.
I don't listen to any podcast really anymore because I don't commute, with exception of maybe the Shining Wizards, because you need a good chuckle every now and again.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what's like the lower quality
How
version
adorable.
of what we do?
That's it. It's cute. But yeah, Ryan, what does PMT stand for? Because they
Part
said
of my take.
That's it. Okay, they said the name. I just don't have it down. So MJF was on Part of My Take, and he said that he had been advised by doctors to stay off the road until his match against Jon Moxley at Full Gear, and that match is super important because it might crown him as the face of the next generation of pro wrestling, almost like guys like San Martino, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Hogan, The Rock, and Cena. He says guys who are exactly what MJF is. So all he has to do is etch his name in history. All he has to do to etch his name into history is to have a nice long title reign, and he's not going to pretend that Moxley is going to be easy to beat. Mox wasn't born to be world champion. He doesn't have an athletic bone in his body, but he has worked his ass off to be the man he is today, and MJF says he respects that. But Max says he was born for this, and to wave the flag and do interviews and make everyone talk about wrestling again. That throne is for the taking, and he's going to take it, and he's really sick of waiting for his turn. He said the spotlight's stolen from him again and again, by Cody's neck tattoo, by Matt Hardy falling like Humpty Dumpty, by Jericho for a full calendar year. And then on his big return, his spotlight went to a press conference. Well, he's not waiting for the spotlight anymore. He's taking it, and Regal will bet on the wrong horse because at Full Gear, the devil gets his due. Nice promo from MJF. And I mean, listen, guys, I think they're building this perfectly. I don't expect to see him on TV live in the ring, or wrestling every week. Don't necessarily want that. And I love the story around that, right? Because it's like, oh, the doctors say I shouldn't be there traveling. He's been filming, I guess, for the new for the movie that's coming out on A24 about the Von Erichs. So that sort of is a reason to explain why he hasn't been there. But listen, I think we all see the writing on the wall. This has to be MJF's time, right? I think Mox wants some time off. He should have gotten, but he didn't get MJF. This is the time. You don't sign him and bring him back not to win the title. So I think this is it. I love where this is going. I think he's just doing what he does best. I didn't have anything wrong with this. Schlong, let's go to you for your negative take first.
Fucking awful. Ramble. I do actually have one small criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was only maybe on your broadcast it wasn't there, but I did see some people on Twitter complain about it. The audio and video were not perfectly synced. And as soon as someone pointed it out, I could not focus on anything else. Like, it was all that I could see. The words were great. It was an amazing promo. I still think, especially based on the promo that came, maybe almost immediately after, I still think the firm is going to help him win the title. I think this is all an elaborate ruse because that's just the devil's making us believe he doesn't exist. And he's real. It was. I mean, it was excellent. It was because even when he turns on us and he uses the firm, nothing he said is a lie. So that's what makes it so good. There's so much truth in everything he's saying.
Yeah,
So I
I
really
think
enjoyed it.
that's true. Even like in the Punk feud that got built out, in the Regal stuff that he built out, like it's all been a lot of real life stuff. So the fact that this like box stuff follows in those footsteps is really nice. I just think he's a terrible podcast guest. Like he's just rambling into a camera while you're trying to have an interview with him. Like he's just,
And that's our job.
not even exactly. He's like not even looking at you. He's talking for like 5 minutes away from you. But other than being a bad podcast guest, I think this was great. This is a perfect setup into what should be a long and healthy reign for him. I think it'll be very productive. I think he's at a point where we talk about like people making the belt or the belt making people. He's kind of at a weird middle ground that's pretty rare, I think, in wrestling when it's a little bit of both. Like Miro definitely was that way too because he was coming in from another company and needed to establish who he was. But MJF's just young, and I think this is going to be something that's really special. Of like, he'll have a title reign that'll cement his legacy, but he's good enough where he can put over a lot of baby faces in the process and make them look great and make them sound great through his promo skills. So I think it should be something that's really, really well done. I don't think this is a swerve with the firm, largely because I don't think MJF even legally is of age to have a license to dick ride. So I don't understand how you can overcome something like that.
Listen, you've got to have a license if you're going to dick ride. I know that much.
That's it. We're adults.
It is interesting too, as Ryan sort of said, keep in mind the quotes with MJF. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. But there's also a second lesser known quote. This is for real, but I've seen it sort of making the rounds in a lot of the MJF stuff. The second greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he's the good guy. So maybe. We'll see.
I'm excited either way. Like, I think this has been a really fun build.
Yeah, it should be a really good match. MJF has to win the belt. There's no way around it. He has to win this belt. This is the time. This is the way. It has to get done.
Yeah.
I don't see it going any other way, to be honest.
Lock it down.
So when they go to commercial and come back, we get a Stoke vignette. And this is where he starts talking about unlicensed dick riding. But he
felony.
does it. Apparently, it is a major fucking felony.
Only if you get caught.
Well, that's like any crime, Ryan. You got to get caught first. But Stoke is talking about how he used to think that he and MJF had the same goals, money, cars, and things like that. Instead, he's dick riding John Moxley. The worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license. So, win, lose, or draw at Full Gear, he says he'll see Max in hell. So, again, to Ryan's point, this could all be a major swerve. But if it's not, I'm just interested in seeing sort of where this goes next, right? Because you would assume MJF wins this title. Now he's going to be in some sort of feud with the firm. And the next match we get is, a firm member in this eliminator tournament. So we'll talk about that in a second. But you would assume if that's where they're going, it's got to be related to this, right? Because who else in the firm would it be besides like Ethan Page? It's not going to be either one of the Guns. It's not going to be William Morrissey Jr. Who else is it going to be? So listen, either way, I thought it was a nice vignette. Kate, why is your friend Stokely Hathaway so mean? And do you two things? Do you dick ride without a license like Stoke says people do? And the only reason I'm asking, Kate, is I need to know if you are committing the worst crime you can commit. And second of all, if this is the type of company you keep, I am a little questioning the company I keep with you, Kate. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you should definitely be doing the second regardless of that. I don't understand why people would keep company with me, but I'm not fully licensed, but I do have a dick riding permit, so it's legal. Like I'm good. Just not fully certified. So I'll get there. But I actually really liked the way this was filmed. Like, it was really short, but like they clearly took their time to make sure it looked good and was like a well-produced vignette. I think it's a really interesting story either way. Like, I think if the firm is in his corner and they're going to help him fend off people during his title reign, that's awesome. If it's a way to get Morrissey and Ethan Page over, I think that's awesome too. There's just a lot of stuff you could do with a heel or a tweener MJF reign. Like, if Ricky Starks wins the breakout tournament, my God, like a face Starks versus a heel MJF for an opening bout, a Miro return into that picture. Like, there's a lot of fun ways you could go, but I think we've seen MJF and Henchman so many times that story, not that it's run out, but I feel like just kind of has a little less juice than it might otherwise. So I would prefer to see MJF kind of stand on his own a little bit and Ethan Page get to do things more actively. But I don't think there's a wrong call in that situation, but I thought the vignette was fun. My Twitter timeline blew up with dick riding license jokes. Good time.
Schlong, I heard you're a dick riding offender and you don't have a license.
First of all, you can't prove that. They call me DB Cooper, baby. No one's ever caught me, and no one ever will. I commit my crime, I get in, get out, and get on my way.
4 arrests.
Never been arrested. Never been arrested.
Okay. I paid $1.99 to look you up.
It's actually DR Cooper, Dick Riding Cooper.
You wish.
And never been caught. Never gonna be caught.
Okay, sure. Then I guess
and I never got caught neither.
I guess I paid $1.99 to spy on them.com for no reason.
You sure did. You think they're gonna be able to find me? I am a master.
At dick riding?
Damn straight.
Unlicensed dick riding.
I've learned from the ancient wise men and women of dick riding.
Legends.
Okay. Well, beyond the dick riding, Schlong, since you say you've never been caught and Kate's research says you've been arrested 4 times, do you have any problems with this promo?
If I've been arrested 4 times, why am I not in jail? Exactly.
Yeah,
this is perfect. Fake news. It was perfect. I loved this. I still, like I said, I think it is a swerve coming. I think there's just too much. It's just, I know it's almost maybe too obvious that maybe they don't do the swerve because it's so obvious to work, but I just can't see MJF working face like consistently. He's just so against his character. But well, I'm okay with whatever they do. As long as we sort out that I've never gone to jail. Someone with my name may have gone to jail for a crime of dick riding.
Ryan Schlong.
There are
jail for dick riding. Shocker.
But
the captain. I know what the captain is. Okay, Ryan Schlong is an alias for the Schlong who is a dirty old man.
No, I'm just saying. That person may have had my name and somehow their DNA became my DNA in the system, but I didn't go to jail. So
Jason Major raising a very good point into your how did I go to jail thing by saying this is America and you're Caucasian. That's a very fair point. A very fair point.
Good point.
Makes you think.
Dick riding doesn't have the same issues as the rest of the crimes in this country. Dick riding is universally beloved and hated at the same time.
Is dick riding anything like ghost riding?
No, I never ghost ride that dick.
Okay. Just want to be sure.
I'm just saying there's a written part of the exam and a physical part of the exam. So study up.
There's definitely an oral exam.
There is an oral exam as well, too. 20 points apiece. 20-point oral, 20-point physical, 20-point written. So don't forget to study.
What?
There's an essay portion. Be a responsible citizen. Get your dick riding license today.
No. Again, I'm a master criminal. Never gonna get that license.
I don't know where we're going with this anymore. I'm just gonna push on. Because I really actually want to talk about this. Eddie Kingston versus All Ego Ethan Page in the AEW World Championship #1 contender tournament first round match. Ethan Page comes out with Stoke and William Morrissey in his corner. Eddie Kingston comes out with Ortiz in his corner, cutting through sort of to the middle of this match. Ortiz is the referee, Paul Turner, gets distracted by Stokely Hathaway. Ortiz is able to get Stoke to the back, and that distracts Eddie a little bit. So Eddie turns to give the back fist to the future. Page ducks that, and he's able to turn the tide. All Ego Ethan Page does win by pinfall with the Avalanche Ego's Edge. And Kate, here's my only question for you. Did Eddie Kingston lose this just so that later this year or later next year he can win the championship at Grand Slam in his hometown of Flushing, Queens, New York? Because that's been your thing from like day one. They're just doing this to give him the title at Flushing.
Well, this year it would have made a whole bunch of sense if the CM Punk drama didn't go down. Like, to have Eddie be a transitional champion between CM Punk and MJF would have made a ton of sense to me. So that there would have been a booking opportunity if things had gone right.
Kate,
last time
question.
I just wanted him to have a moment. I feel like it's dumb that he's been on Rampage for 2 Grand Slams in a row.
Kate, there is one question I need to ask. I forgot. I'm sorry. And then you can finish your thoughts. Eddie Kingston lost this match. Can you tell me what that makes him?
The non-winner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Schlong, when you're done taking that long sip of water.
A fucking loser!
Oh, that's the right answer. Okay.
Are you happy?
Yes.
Stealing a Monday night gimmick. Stealing from the B show. Disgusting. Deplorable.
I just wanted you to hear him say he's a fucking loser.
So
I knew
we're
he
all
was
in agreement
gonna
that he's a
lose.
fucking loser.
No. He's booked to lose, but he's never a loser in my heart. That's my M. That's my perennial M of my FMK that you're talking about.
No, it's not.
He's the M?
Occasionally
I
when
marry
he's
Eddie
a gas
Kingston all the time.
except when there's a gas can involved, and suddenly he gets up to the F.
Well, that's because you guys took Peter Avalon in the mix.
Well,
Peter Avalon's there.
True.
He's my forever F. I thought the match was good. We're getting real fucking lazy about this ref shit, though. They've got to figure out different ways to have matches be protected without making your refs look stupid every time. And I also felt like this kind of made Ortiz look stupid. Like, Stokes the great manager. Ortiz could have easily beat the shit out of him. Like, that spot should not have gone on that long. Like, Stokely distracting the ref should be a thing for like a second and a half before Ortiz is jumping him. Like, that seemed so like obvious and demonstrative. But I loved the match. The right guy won. Like, Eddie Kingston coming back was gonna get a huge pop. Let him move on to something that is an
He's in a story right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a story right now about the refs. That's why they did it this way. They're still telling that story.
That's a fucking dumb story.
I'm not
having competent refs is a dumb story. He should be in a story with referees. Shouldn't be in a story with referees. He should be in a story with the talent. Like, of anyone who doesn't need that help in all of AEW, it's the guy that can deliver a promo that literally on a cookie and make it interesting, right? Like, a fucking waste of talent and time. So that's really, really dumb. I like that Ortiz came out with him. That was nice. But the right guy won. Like Ethan Page and Ricky Starks should probably be your finals for this, I think. And either side of that is really interesting, whether they choose to do something with MJF or not alongside Ethan Page. So I think the tournament is short but fun, which is how I believe Ryan describes himself on dating profiles.
Ooh.
First of all, I'm 5'10". I'm not that short.
I was
Now time. Well, no, because short may be fun. Absolutely not for them. So there's just no reason I'm gonna lie to start. Ethan Page, like Kate said, Ethan Page needs this. His story is more important right now. Eddie Kingston can take a million losses and always just come back. He's just that guy. I actually agree. I don't like the story they're telling with him, but that is the story they're telling with him. That he has got anger issues and he's mad at the refs. Ortiz is, like, at least right now, acting as his cool down. So I really hope they're not going into a feud between those two, but maybe. So we'll see. But Ethan Page looked great. Can't wait to see him in the finals against Ricky Starks. That's what we all want. That's what we all need. That's what we all deserve.
Well, and this is something I want to bring up for discussion too, because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social and in other places, like other, news outlets and stuff, where people are just like, another fucking tournament. Okay, here's my thing. How many times we talk about, I want to see this guy on TV, I want to see this guy more involved. They're fucking doing it with this. We say, how many times, I need to see more Ethan Page. He's on TV tonight. He won. He's moving on. We're going to see him again. Ricky Starks, we want to see more of him on TV. He's going to be on TV. He's going to win and move on, right? Like, I mean, I hope so. But, he's going to win and move on.
I love tournaments.
I mean, but this is how you pull in the talent that you say, I need to see more of them on TV. Like, I
yes
get
and
it.
No, though. It has. I love tournaments, so I'm never complaining about. I like what New Japan does. I think there should be tons of tournament-based stuff, but they have done 3 tournaments in a very short amount of time. But it's because of the circumstances. They had no choice but to do that with the championship and the trios titles, right? So
right.
I have no problem
that's
with it.
and the trios thing, they did that to, I guess, sort of solidify who the trios are in the company, right? So, like, you need to sort of build your division, quote unquote. So, and you're gonna do that to figure out who's gonna get crowned the first champion, right? I do agree that with some of the other tournaments, it's a circumstance, maybe or sort of an issue of circumstance, but if you're also taking a break from the rankings and not making that big a deal out of it, what other way are you going to determine sort of on a major scale and pull in some of the younger talent on the stories and do it with the tournament? And this isn't an 18-week tournament. It's a short bracket. So
yeah, again, I don't have complaints about it, but it is, they have gone to that playbook a lot. Like, you should have more than one way to get this much talent on your television, but I love tournaments, so no complaints from me.
Well, the interesting thing we'll see is to see how the other matches will sort of shake out, right? So Friday night we have Bandito versus Roosh. That's on the same side as the Ethan Page Eddie Kingston. So the winner of that will face Ethan Page. On the other side of the bracket, you have Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks. So Starks has a major hill to climb. Then you have Brian Cage versus Dante Martin. That is another, major match. Now, if you ask my opinion, Brian Cage has done everything he needs to do to sort of move on in this tournament, right? So I anticipate him getting through the first round. It'll be interesting because we expect it to be Starks versus Ethan Page in the final, right? So that would be another interesting story to put here, right? If Ricky gets past Lance Archer and then he's got to get past Brian Cage, what shape is he going to be in for a final, right?
Sure.
So he's going to have to show a lot. And that would make him a huge babyface. I mean, bigger than he is now going into a final. And then Ethan Page versus, God, it doesn't matter to me, Bandito or Roosh. That match will fucking rule. So I'm excited for this tournament. And I think the first match tonight was pretty good. The distraction stuff, though, does worry me a little bit. I'm like, we're going to do that already? You know,
Yeah.
like, I kind of hope they take a break on that.
I also think if you wanted to set up Lance Archer and Cage out of this tournament as an ROH program, if they do get there, that could be something that's really, really fun. Like Brian Cage has looked so much better than he has against other opponents when he's against these bigger dudes since he's come back, that like I think Lance Archer could be a really, really fun program for him to move on to. And also, like, same deal with Rush and Bandito. Like, I think the story is going to be between the two of them more than it is whichever one of them wins and goes on to face Ethan Page. So if you're looking at tournaments doing the job that they should do of setting up additional stories as well as having stakes, I think this is a great use of talent in brackets. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I like who they pick to be in this tournament and the stories that you tell out of it, especially for somebody like Ricky Starks. He's got to get past Lance Archer first. You know, that's a major babyface move, right? He's got to David's got to slay Goliath. And then essentially he's going to have to do it again, unless they decide to push Dante Martin, which I wouldn't mind that either. But I feel like Cage has kind of earned the right to move past the first round. So we'll see what happens in the next match. We do go to a Rush interview backstage with the Dark Order, and they were requested to be there. Jose is still trying to get 10 to defect. He's willing to offer him the title shot against Rush when Rush inevitably wins the tournament and the title. So Rush tells him to think about it because he doesn't give any second chances, and that's when John Silver calls him a Rush bag and has to be held back. Just fantastic. And I think on Twitter, 10 said, I guess I have to, root for Rush now. So yeah, stop being a Rush bag, Ryan. I don't know if anybody has to add anything to this, but
no, that popped me tremendously. Rush
yeah,
bag.
just a nice wrinkle to this sort of story they're trying to tell, where Andrade wanted 10 to defect, and hey, where's Andrade? So now we're just gonna slide Rush into that.
Hold on a second, I gotta stop. I know usually Jason Major. I'm only 24 and wanting the Kentucky Fried Fuck is David and Goliath. David and Goliath is one of the most famous biblical stories ever told. Your age does not mean you shouldn't know this. It's like literally one of the most go-to statements in everything. It's used in politics. It's used in sports. It's used in everyday life. Goliath, big. David, small. David beat Goliath.
Yeah.
It's used in wrestling a lot as well.
It's Old Testament, Jason, so Jewish doesn't help you there. It's in your Torah.
No, and it's referenced a lot, so that's something that you should know. But it just means like big guy versus small guy, essentially.
So moving on, we go back to the ring, and Daivari is there, offering to sell his butler, VSK, to Wardlow for the TNT Championship. That way they save both the time and the trouble of having a match. Well, unfortunately, Wardlow sends VSK flying through the ropes. Daivari's begging him off. He tries to, tries a kick. He gets headbutted, unconscious. That's when we get the big lariat. The orchestra starts to play. Wardlow wins by pinfall with the Powerbomb Symphony to retain the championship. But the real story is post-match. That's when Wardlow calls out Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs answers the call, says they're doing says they're doing this on his time. And Wardlow says that the title is his and will always be his. And for that matter, he's going to take every title in the company. Well, Samoa Joe doesn't like that very much and was standing behind Wardlow. So Samoa Joe decides to crack Mr. Mayhem over the head with the Ring of Honor World Television Championship and proceeds to choke out Wardlow with the Coquina Clutch. So the initial thinking is this was all a ruse. This was Powerhouse Hobbs setting it up. Powerhouse Hobbs is heard saying he'll see Samoa Joe too, and he'll still kick his ass. So apparently this isn't an agreement, or at least that's not what they're leading us to believe at this moment. This was not an agreement that Hobbs and Samoa Joe made. Samoa Joe is turned on Wardlow. Guys, what do we think about this? Kate, let's go to you first, since Schlong is arguing in the chat about the Bible or something like that. Kate, do you like this? I didn't think they were going to sort of split up Warjo that soon.
I do and I don't. First of all, shout out to Ryan for arguing about the Bible in the chat, because the PC police aren't going to control us. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Second, that's a joke from the commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do
Sure.
that for real.
Okay.
I like it and I don't like it. I don't understand the point of what this tag run was. You could have just gotten here a different way then. I feel like both of the titles being wrapped up in this is silly. However, I did think we were going to get here eventually. This caught me off guard, which is refreshing. I feel like a lot of times you normally, I guess because we were building to Hobbs first, I thought it would have come like a little bit down the road, but this actually caught me off guard. I feel like these splits are so telegraphed a lot of times that this was really nice. I also think I really like Samoa Joe working heel. I just think he's so much fun. I like rooting for him too, but like Samoa Joe as a heel is just a gold mine to me. Having Eddie Kingston as a face and Samoa Joe as a heel is like some of the most ideal positioning of people in the company to me. So I love that. I think he just does some real magic on the mic as a heel. So I think that could be a ton of fun. And I also like that it feels like Wardlow did something to cause this outside of like Samoa Joe having a masterminded plan, right? Like Wardlow said he's coming for every belt in the company, and then that pissed Samoa Joe off, and Samoa Joe got pissed off and did what he did. So I like that it wasn't like I had it all along. Like I think he was like, hey, we were supposed to be in this together. We didn't win tag gold together, and now you're just going after every title in the company. That kind of includes the one I have. So I really, really liked what they ended up doing. I just don't like that you had two titles that were singles titles caught up in this whole mess. Like I feel like there were much easier routes you could have taken to get here. But Samoa Joe working heel, going after Wardlow, I'll take it. I'll take it. And if this turns into a triple threat with Hobbs, I think that's also really good because Hobbs has grown so much, but like being in the ring with someone as veteran as Samoa Joe, I think is probably a very healthy situation for him to be. So let's see.
I'll say this. We probably also should have seen this coming, because when this is the shirt you get in the crate this month, that is definitely a heel looking Samoa Joe.
Fuck yeah.
Look, I can pretend I'm Matt. Oh, I'm Samoa Joe, brother.
Yeah, if you turn off the lights, you would look just like his creepy ass mask.
So first of all, our chat is getting way too heady for me. We're talking about Judeo-Christian mythology. Yeah, come on.
Fucking quarter of one almost.
We're talking about dick riding without a license. Cool it.
Well, that's a very serious matter.
Let's do it. Riding my pony.
Shlong, what do you think about all this? I mean, the match was what it was. I know you enjoy seeing VSK, but
I mean, you knew the only thing is the split was a surprise, but you kind of knew it was coming only based off last week. Like they did not let this, unlike most of their turns, this one was not like played out. It was like hint done. Samoa Joe is just a better heel than he is face. He's a killer. He works so much better in that role. So while I'm with Kate, this isn't necessarily how I would have done it in this order. The end result is what I want, which is with a heel Samoa Joe just wrecking shit.
You know what was also interesting is after Rampage went off the air, the final go home word was Samoa Joe, and they were, I think they got jumped right at the end. Excuse me, on Friday. So Joe grabbed the mic and was, basically calling people out, and they led you to believe maybe this breakup wasn't coming, because he said something like, War Joe, you fuck with this, you got to mess with Warjo or whatever. You know what I mean? So like they were sort of hammering home like that this is going to go on for some time to the live crowd. So
you're also already teasing a split with Swerve and Their Glory too. So I feel like you don't want to overlap the timing too much, but
I think it's a means to an end to get to a triple threat match at Full Gear, to be honest. And then Ryan's going to be happy because it's going to be big, meaty men slapping meat.
Hell yeah. And I think if you want to put the title on Hobbs, you can protect, you can just have Hobbs pin Samoa Joe in the process. You know what I mean? Like you can protect Wardlow really, really well if the plan is to take the title off of him.
Yeah, and if they do take the title off Wardlow, I don't have an issue with it because then, he's got 2 feuds he can jump straight into. He can go to Samoa Joe, maybe even vie for that Ring of Honor TV title, or he can just continue his feud with Hobbs because, the story could be like, you didn't pin me.
100%.
Pin Samoa Joe, so let's get this back on. So I don't have a problem with any of this. I liked it, and it was a little bit of a surprise. Like I said, I didn't think I saw the seeds being planted. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. So it was nice to get a little bit of a surprise. All right, guys, moving on. This is a segment that Ryan is very high on. Jade Cargill and her baddies are interviewed by Renee Paquette, and she says she's sick of Nyla parading around her title, and she's going to handle things Friday in Boston on Rampage. But they did announce that at Full Gear, we're going to get a match for the title between Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose. Here's my only fear, guys. Nyla Rose in a huge spot at a pay-per-view is always a fucking loser. So do we want to see this yet again? I mean, this story's been entertaining. When they do something with Nyla, like I think it was Friday night or maybe on one of the darks, I can't remember. She won, and then they held up a sign. It was like 108-0, so they're playing to the Jade streak thing, which I think is funny and it's working. But I'm just very nervous about this, right? Like another big match, Nyla's gonna lose. Do we think Nyla's gonna be the one to take this title and give Jade her first loss? Like, no. So what's the point?
I'm hoping for somebody comes back, either Red Velvet or Layla Hirsch. I think Chris would be too early, but she's also evidently a fucking beast and just works extremely hard to come back from injury very early. So that's my hope. And or that we get a Nyla face turn out of it. I think it seems like people know that like she just doesn't need Vicky. And this is a heel on heel feud. So maybe Vicky costs her and she's done with Vicky or something like that. I think if there's some evolution for one of them out of it, that would be a good thing. But otherwise I'm kind of with you on that. Like, unfortunately, that should probably be in your buy-in slot if nothing major is happening there. And you should leave the other women's matches that will come out of this, which will be Saraya and Britt. You might have to do that anyway, just based on the caliber of the other stuff. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's like they build up Nyla to be this monster. She's Lady Lance Archer. It's the same thing, right? Huge spots, intimidating beast, always loses. So I'm with you.
Nyla's gonna lose. That sucks. But I'm enjoying the story, and that doesn't suck. So I'm just trying to enjoy the ride. I mean, I think she's hilarious. I think this has been the best thing that's ever happened to her because it's letting her be her. But she's gonna lose, and that sucks. And it's not. Again, I like Jade. It's not even a knock on Jade. It's just that run has become boring. It's if you look, any run that goes too long starts to become boring. But
it's especially a problem when there's nobody to feed her anymore. Like
and when you're undefeated,
right?
Because when you're undefeated, it means losing has more than just losing the belt. It's whoever breaks that streak. Like, that's a big fucking deal, the way they've hyped her up. So it can't just be someone we don't expect, because what are we doing here? So, but it's not going to be Nyla. But I do think this still has overall been good for Nyla because it's allowed her to show her personality, which is hilarious. I saw someone in the chat, Michael, damn it. Goldberg was boring too because of his streak. Actually, I agree. I mean, I've heard Kevin Nash do interviews being like, you had to get him away from the streak. Like, the streak is bad because now you not just who's taking the belt, it's who's breaking this big deal. Like, it's just too much. They need to get I don't know who it is. I mean, you could have a returning Ruby Soho at some point too, because she's been gone because of the broken arm.
It'll be Chris, and it'll be at like 50-0. It's just they should have just strapped up Athena, I think.
Well, they're doing something interesting with Athena right now, so that's been fun.
They are, but I just feel like this reign's been over for a while, and they're waiting. I think they're really waiting for Chris Statlander to come back, and that's until then, we're just like in this whole holding pattern.
Well, luckily we have 2 TBS champions.
That's true.
That's a very good point.
But they did miss the boat. They should have let Athena take that title off her. They really did. Athena was a big deal coming in. That was the big, one of her first big matches. They should have done it.
And she's looked great. Like, she's looked so good in the ring.
She's everything I wanted from the TBS champion. Every match she would have would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too here is, I know because we were talking about the possibility of Nyla face turning. I don't even think it has to be something like Nyla pushes away Vicky, because now they've put Marina Shafir around her. They could have Marina turn on Nyla, right? Like, let's say she loses this match. Marina turns on Nyla, and Vicky explains it as, every time you're in this position, you lose, so we're done with you, find your own road or whatever. And now we have a whole thing between Marina and Nyla can come out being the face. She doesn't have to turn.
Or you could just have Nyla continue to pick on the heels, and she just is a face by default because everyone she's fucking with is a heel.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying, if you want to have like a real turn, right? Nyla doesn't have to turn on Vicky. Nyla could get turned on, and then the job's done for her, and you get, hopefully Marina would push herself up to be, a little more elevated in the division, because she's still sort of like in this whatever place.
And Kyle K. Sparks bringing up a good point. He says the TBS title feels like a moment where Tony Khan struggles to redirect when outside factors affect presumed booking plans, which is definitely a weakness of Tony Khan. He definitely gets locked into, this was my plan. And sometimes that's a benefit, where like you don't make spur of the moment decisions that would fuck you if you just had some patience. But sometimes it's like you have to adjust because the length of time is too long now.
Yeah, you gotta go with the hot hand.
Yeah, if Chris was going to be out a month, okay, you can delay a month. But when you're talking most of the year, you can't. You have to change your plans.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the time to do it was Athena. I think they missed that mark in a big way. It really should have been Athena's moment. Just let her have it. Give her the title. Jade could still be on TV, and you could still build her into stories trying to get this title back. Maybe it doesn't happen, but you don't have to have her go on this massive losing streak, right? She takes one loss and then continues to sort of work back to it. Or you could have even put her in a picture for the title at some point, before, like Thunder Rosa got hurt. That could have been a built-in thing. Like, fuck that title. I'm too good for it anyway. I'm going for the championship. So I don't know. It just seemed like a whole mess. But what's not a mess is the face-to-face that happened with Tony Schiavone, with Britt Baker and Saraya for the in-ring interview. So both ladies get introduced, and Saraya wanted to speak to Britt face-to-face, and she knows everybody's wondering if she's cleared or not. And a couple of weeks ago, they took x-rays and CT scans, and unfortunately for Britt, Saraya is 100% cleared. AEW is her house. She does get emotional because she's probably been dying for this for a very long time. So Britt asked if there's anything more fickle than an AEW fan. She asked if Saraya even knows how to do this anymore. And she's been coming after her since the day she got here. Why? She thinks she's got it. Britt built AEW from the ground up until it became a fortress that wrestlers, no superstars like Saraya, wanted to move into. And she's damn proud of that, but the pride turns into resentment quickly, and she has the audacity to skip in here and say it's her house because she didn't lay a single brick. Britt gets it. Saraya is obsessed with her because she's everything she wishes she could have been, and if she thinks that's not true, she left her house and walked into Britt's. Britt says they don't take walk-ins, so bitch, make an appointment. Oh, snap.
Doctor talk.
Bam. And Saraya says that Britt's only been in her business for 3 years. She doesn't know what it takes to be a superstar. Saraya's traveled up and down the UK and over Europe for free because she loves the business. She got hit by a car and wrestled the same day. She handled resumes for promoters and got turned down for being a woman. And Britt has no idea what it takes to make it. She's been making revolutions since before wrestling was even a twinkle in Britt Baker's eye. She's done MSG, the O2, and the Tokyo Dome, and now she's in front of this ungrateful bish. And Britt doesn't know what it takes. She's been humiliated. Saraya says she's been humiliated in front of millions of people, likely talking about her leaked porn videos. And had her addictions exposed live. And she's given her career and her neck for the business, and Baker doesn't have a clue, but there's another opportunity handed to her on a silver platter. This is going to be Saraya's comeback story and the biggest match of Britt's career at Full Gear. And that's when Britt goes to attack as Saraya leaves, but she's able to duck and catches Britt Baker with the DDT or whatever her finisher's called. I don't remember
the Rampage, so I don't know what it's called now, and I don't think commentary did either.
Yeah,
they were like, and there's Saraya doing what she does best.
Right. So then she says, "This is my house," and it's a celebration. So guys, Full Gear will get Saraya's return and her in-ring debut for AEW against Britt Baker. It's exciting. I think we all obviously knew that this was coming, right? Like they're not going to sign her without her being somewhat cleared to go. But it's emotional for her. You could tell she got choked up just saying I'm cleared to wrestle, because I think it's been pretty public that she wanted to wrestle again in the E, and they wanted no part of it. They said never again. She's too much of a risk. And if there's one thing we've seen, I guess, from AEW, it's that if there are these wrestlers who've had these problems, Bryan Danielson, they make sure they're clear. Danielson's been cleared, good to go, and I'm assuming they've taken all the precautions with Saraya as well. So it'll be interesting to see her back in the ring. I'm sure she's been working at it very hard. So this will be a lot of fun. And I think it will be one of the bigger matches of the night. I think it has sleeper match potential written all over it. Kate is nodding. Kate has been highly critical and vocal of this women's division, but we've also all sort of been vocal about what we hope Saraya brings here. Kate, just having this now confirmed, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, your rundown was obviously the first that I heard because I was in the bathroom.
That's right, bathroom.
Yeah, so Thank you for recapping it. Just reacting off the top of my head as I was in the bathroom. No, this is all so encouraging when you think about where we were at Grand Slam and where we are now. So many stories being built out, and here you have one that's a true, like, extremely high caliber match, very high stakes, not stakes like title wise, but like from a recognizability standpoint and stuff in the women's division, and nowhere near a title. Like, this is an extremely well-built non-title feud. It's exciting. And there's just, all of a sudden, they've just been telling very normal, logical stories. We saw a tag match on Friday, and 2 singles competitors were on there tonight, right? So all of the simplistic changes that we've been rooting for, extremely vocally, obviously, and you guys as well, like, seem to be coming into play in a more sustainable way. I think this is awesome. I think Hayter and Tony Storm is also going to be great, but it was also just really nice to see what I felt like was a really strong promo segment to hype up this match. I think when Saraya's initial like debut on the mic did not go great, and there was some confusion around like, what is she here to do? Is she a conduit of some sort? Is she here to wrestle? Today she said she's 100% cleared. So getting clarity around what she's doing here. And this, I thought her promo was awesome. Her talking about her contributions to the business, all the real life stuff she'd been through. I thought Britt did really well too. I thought she handled this great. And it made me want to see the match. It promoted the match, right? So I love it. I think you're right. I think this has a potential to be a show stealer. And it's, Paige was injured and taken out of commission. WWE tried with her again, and then she pretty much immediately got injured again, and they said, we're not taking that risk. She's worked really, really hard, from my understanding, to come back, and she did say 100% clear today. So I think it's going to be an all-out match. We saw Shibata come back from a brain bleed, right? So I'm just happy for her that she gets to rewrite her own career from here on out. Like that's an awesome thing for her. So I thought this was great. I thought she sounded really good on the mic, and I thought Britt did well, and nice to have a very compelling non-title feud going on. Wow, there's substantive stories going on in the title feuds as well. An A, B, and C storyline. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah. I'm going to pose this before, because I want Ryan's take, but I also want to put this out there. Kyle K. Sparks put it in the chat. He says, I don't like the idea of Saraya talking about how Britt, quote, doesn't know how to be a star, end quote, when she's been the biggest AEW women's star for the better part of 2 years. Kind of buries the promotion. I hear what you're saying, Kyle, but my take on this is, in this promo, she very clearly sort of stated, everything you've gotten was handed to you. I had to work for it. So that's sort of how I would delineate it, not sort of burying the promotion, but burying basically her work ethic. I don't know.
And Britt opened the door on direct there, right? Like she had said wrestler, and then she said, I mean superstar or whatever. Right. And I think that opened the door for Saraya to, not only was that WWE, but I think her point was, I've been all over the world. This is the only place you've ever been. I know what it takes to be a global force in wrestling when you are not global force, when you've only been here and you've been like the very real life criticism is she's Tony Khan's golden girl. Right. So I think it was a good thing to lean into, but I understand where Kyle's coming from with that.
What's your thought on that, Ryan? And then obviously this whole promo.
I think it's very clear, very carefully selected that they said the word superstar, obviously for the dig at WWE, but also to kind of be like, people, don't look down on me because that's what I was. You have no idea what it took for me to be that level. I think that was, listen, it wasn't perfect for her to against Britt, no, but it reestablished all that Saraya has gone through to be at that level. Now, what I think you're going to see is Britt come back next week or wherever with her response, which is going to show all the hardships that Britt has been through. But you had to let Saraya lay in the first one because this was her like, don't you dare look down on me type deal. Because I think people, and also kind of a reminder of like what she's done and how long she's been around. Because you don't want people to forget all, like, she wasn't just WWE. She was, from the time she was a teenager, she was Billy Starks before there was Billy Starks. Like, she was a teenager working the indies and doing all that. So you want people to know that. The promos were this is great. I mean, there's no one, like, this is selling a great feud. Perfect first feud for Saraya. I saw someone online saying they think, I forget who it was, they think that Saraya should put over Britt, and I disagree. Saraya needs to come out win. Britt doesn't need the win. And it's kind of weird that Britt is older than Saraya.
Well,
it just feels weird.
To retire at 24 or something. She was so young when she had to retire. It's sad.
It's just crazy when you think about it. Like, she's 30. She has a long, if she can keep things going, she's a good long career ahead of her. Like,
yeah, Well, either way, it was a huge announcement for the Full Gear card tonight, and I thought it was a pretty good promo in the ring, and you got to see a little bit more, again, out of Saraya tonight, hitting a major wrestling move, not just doing a little bit of brawling outside of the ring. So we'll see what happens in 2 weeks, or like a week and a half at this point, at Full Gear. Should be interesting. But guys, then they throw it backstage to something that happened earlier. They basically show that Sanjay Dutt is paying Cole Carter for the help last week. QT Marshall takes his cut and says next time it'll be half off. That's when Danhausen and the best friends come up. They yell at Lee Johnson for ruining Danhausen's Halloween and hanging out with the Hat People. And QT tries to goad Orange Cassidy into giving Lee a title match, and Orange Cassidy accepts without any sort of fanfare. He just goes, okay. And that's pretty much that. And then Trent Beretta says he wants to fight Jay Lethal, so that's happening tonight. And then we get Jay Lethal versus Trent Beretta. Jay gets the jump on Trent coming down the ramp, trying to take out the knee. And then getting through the match, we have Danhausen and Sexy Chucky T come down to sort of even things out because we've got Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt ringside. Danhausen tries to, get Sanjay Dutt to stop interfering. Satnam Singh gets up and Danhausen starts to curse him and then turns and punches Sanjay Dutt right in the yam bag. And that's when Singh knocks him off the apron. Lethal takes advantage of the distraction, and we get Jay Lethal winning by pinfall with the lethal injection on Trent. And as they're heading back up the ring, Tony Schiavone interviews the heels. Sanjay Dutt takes the mic, tells him to shut up and sit down. And then he said he promised a huge surprise last week, and he delivered with his good friend Jeff Jarrett. That's when we get Jeff Jarrett, J-E, double F, coming down, grabs the mic, and says that over a million views, after over 1 million views of his debut, the question is, why is he there in AEW? Well, when a friend calls, a friend shows up, and that's exactly what he did, and they put a plan together that they started last week, and he goes through why he's connected to everybody. He says he knows Lethal because he signed him to his first contract. He's got wins over Flair, Sting, and a Grand Slam champion in Ring of Honor. So
he knows everyone because he's a fucking carny who grabs bags.
Let me get through it, Kate. Come on, let me get through it. Don't rain on Jeff Jarrett's parade. He wouldn't rain on yours.
What do you think him being on my television is?
It's not raining on your parade. He's just telling everybody how he's connected to these guys. Come on.
My parade. Oh no.
But also a nice subtle reminder in here, Grand Slam champion in Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal. Maybe you get to see Jay Lethal versus Chris Jericho at some point if he retains going towards Final Battle. You know, Jericho's been doing the destruction of Ring of Honor. Just food for thought.
They're both heels though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Jericho's just trying to destroy the history of Ring of Honor. So he just wants to take anybody out. He also says Sanjay has a high IQ, I think 181 IQ. They've taken promotions all over the globe together. And Satnam is a legit 7'5" giant, no make-believe monster in red skinny jeans in the banana nose circus. This guy is 1 in a billion, the only player in the history of the NBA to be born and bred in India. And he then calls out Darby Allin and Sting, and a crew member interrupts, and Jeff Jarrett tells him never to wind him up, never to count him down. And he continues to challenge on Dynamite, on Full Gear, doesn't matter. And that's when the guy doesn't leave, so Jeff Jarrett chases him with his guitar down the ramp. I guess the guy gets away somewhere. It was a little awkward, that one. I thought he was for sure going to smash him over the head with a guitar. I'm like, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But didn't happen.
Fucking guitar blue balls.
See, now Kate Schlong, isn't this hilarious? Now Kate wants to see the guitar smash. She says she's got blue balls. Oh, look at this.
The only thing worse than Ryan in that hat is
Howdy.
Jeff Jarrett smashing his guitar. And the only thing worse than Jeff Jarrett smashing his guitar is feigning that he's going to smash the guitar and not doing it.
Who's Jeff Jarrett?
Jeff Gary.
All right, Schlong, we know what Kate's thoughts are on this.
Who cares what Satnam Singh's IQ is? He can't wrestle.
It wasn't Satnam Singh. It was Sanjay. First of all, you got the wrong person.
Tell us about.
Oh, sorry. It was probably the fact that I wasn't listening. Because who fucking cares?
Ryan, I don't know about you.
Howdy,
Ryan.
Howdy.
I don't know about you, Ryan. That comes off a little racist. Sounds like Kate saying anybody of Indian descent's all the same.
Sounds like Kate is saying she doesn't give a fuck about what Jeff Jarrett is saying.
I firmly, normally I would jump on the racist train, except I firmly believe Kate did just mute her television during this entire segment, and was reading the captions to me like, what? So my opinion on all this potness is that
don't say it like Eddie Kingston. Don't insult me. Don't insult Eddie Kingston.
Yeehaw, Ron Cowboy.
You can say partner. You can't say partner.
Listen, partner. If I want Jeff Jarrett, he gets this one initial run for his match against Sting, and that's it. I want him off after that. I'm not thrilled about this one, but okay, you get this one, and then you're done. If he continues to be a presence, I have an issue with it. I don't want him on my TV regularly.
Who fucking cares?
I know Kate loves
to run
him.
A gimmick match at the pay-per-view. That's it. They just need to get Sting out there at the pay-per-view.
Remember how great Darby Allin versus MJF was?
My
what the fuck partner. Are we doing?
She's so sad. She's just so sad.
What are we doing?
It's just a one-off match. That's it.
It's a dumb
We're riding.
All it means is we're gonna see Jeff Jarrett maybe get hit over the head with his own guitar from Sting, and Sting will likely go off the top rope.
Oh
through
Lord,
a table.
I don't know if I could take such an event.
Let's move on to a new segment, just because I can't handle this fucking version of Ryan.
Oh Lordy, Kate, Lordy.
Please mute Scarlet of the South, Ryan.
I don't have that power. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Oh Lordy, Kate, Lordy.
It's time for your Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter.
We're not even close to that yet.
It's time for your one women's match.
We do get Jungle Boy Jack Perry interviewed with Renee Paquette. He tells Christian Cage he doesn't get to say when this is over, and he's only getting started. He has a challenge for Cage and Luchasaurus, and he wants to make it make it to their face Friday on Rampage. So we'll see. My guess, it's going to be a Full Gear match.
No way. That would never work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Now I can't even tell if Ryan's sleeping underneath that cowboy hat.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
So Friday night we'll figure out what's next for Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. John Moxley makes his entrance to the ring with William Regal. Says when he was like 25 or 26. When he met Regal full of piss and vinegar, no arthritis, he thought he had it all figured out and kept running his mouth. He wanted to be like William Regal, feared and respected, a top guy. So to prove himself, he tried to pick a fight with the villain. That didn't go well. Regal tortured him and brutalized him, and it pissed John off because it showed him where he was on the food chain and to grow and evolve and get his revenge. And when he got his rematch, he showed it. He knocked William out and tore his ear off with his knee. Then Regal took him under his wing, told him, now the real work begins. And a young MJF, whom Moxley will face at Full Gear with the title on the line. He wrestled MJF well over a year ago. He thought he had it all figured out then, so he beat the hell out of him and sent him packing. Now, all these months later, he's come back around for another shot. So the question is, what's going to be different this time? He seems to be having an existential crisis. So who is MJF? Dresses nice, puts on the air of somebody rich and successful, talks the talk of a big time pro wrestling champion, but Moxley is actually a multi-time millionaire world champion, and he's not fooling him. Friedman likes to call himself a pillar, even though there's no weight on him. But when what's more amusing is that he likes to call himself the devil. Well, John's seen the devil, met him, looked in his eyes. He's met some bad people in bad places and seen them do some bad things. And Max isn't that at all. He wants Friedman to fulfill his destiny and put the company on his back, but he's not worried about the walk and the talk. He wants to see what's in MJF's guts. He wants him to remember one thing at Full Gear. Everything he's done to this point has been easy. And that's it. So, guys, listen. We saw the MJF promo earlier. This Mox promo is, again, building here. We don't need to see Mox defending this title or wrestling every week. Think it's smart he didn't wrestle this week. Hope he doesn't wrestle next week. Make sure he's good, going into the main event on, at Full Gear. But the promos, I mean, that just both these guys are pulling out, I think are pretty fantastic. I had no problem with this. I love the way Moxley cuts his promos, and he always hits on the same things, the devil and blood and guts and, blah, blah, blah. But it works. It's the character and it's this Moxley persona. So I don't have a problem with this. I thought it was great, and he did it live in front of the crowd. So no issues for me. I would like to go to my number one buckaroo, Ryan, for his
Y'all so kind. You're so kind, y'all.
Let's get your take, Ryan. What'd you think of the promo?
Well, this was surely, to me, just wild. Just a wild event. This man is wilding out. Looks like he's a bucking bronco that needs to be broken. But that's just me. I'm going to point out.
Terrible Southern accent. Just terrible.
It is getting away from you a little bit, Ryan.
That's why I put on the Ryan hat for a second. Ryan hat goes on to say his point. Notice that in John Moxley's story that he kicked William Regal's ass the second time around. And he's calling MJF himself that much earlier. So, looks like MJF's going to kick John Moxley's ass the second time around. Now back to my hat, y'all.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, this was great. I think I loved Moxley being like, listen, young child, you're not the devil. I've seen the devil and you in it. That was a really nice extra piece of storytelling. And Regal being such an important part of the story, but not the center of the story, I think has been really good. So very much looking forward to this match.
Well, we are a week and a half away, so I think this match is going to deliver. So keep an eye on Full Gear. This is going to be a lot of fun. Guys, we get another video package of the Elite being erased. This time it's with the Full Gear sort of gear and clock imagery. So they're being erased from history yet again. Now we all Ryan's got the vapors apparently.
The vapors. Oh lordy.
We're almost at 3 hours.
My only thing here is there have been some things in the rumor mill that while the plan is to have the Elite return for a match for these titles at Full Gear, nothing is necessarily 100% set in stone. So it would be surprising if after the video tonight that doesn't happen. But I don't know how much further we go with this unless they have to show up next week. They have to, if they're going to do this at Full Gear. To me, you can't just have this cryptic erase thing and then just randomly have a championship match against mystery opponents at Full Gear. That has to be announced.
Yeah.
But the video is great. I thought the video was fantastic.
Video is great. They're coming back at Full Gear. That's something people buy pay-per-views for. That's awesome.
Kate, this match you skipped because you were in the bathroom. Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue.
Didn't see a second.
What's that?
Didn't see a second of it.
Well, Tony Storm was in Blue's corner for the match.
Could fool me.
Let's cut to the end here. Jamie Hayter wins by pinfall with the ripcord lariat. And post-match, Hayter puts boots to Blue briefly before Tony chases her out of the ring. So we're sort of just building to this match now. And Hayter gets her revenge on Sky Blue. How about coal miner Schlong? Since you've gone, since you didn't skip this match to go to the bathroom, what'd you think?
Glad you picked up on the change in personality. I am now a coal miner. This was
Wrong
was
promotion, but it's okay.
I was gonna say we could use your glove for a Halloween Havoc match.
True.
This was a good match. I was actually pleasantly surprised with what we got out of Sky Blue. She's good. I just, she's still new. But this was a lot of fun. I like the story. I like the Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm rivalry right now. I'm excited for it. So it's a good time. Now back to the mines.
Kate, I know you didn't see this match, but if you've read anything about it, any issues with this?
From what I saw in GIFs online or whatever, no, this was really good. Jamie Hayter is great. She's I feel like she has something that's a little different to offer than a lot of the women in the women's division. So, especially with Chris Statlander being out, I feel like she has the same kind of like stylistically is probably closest to her in that she's hard hitting, more athletically built. I think Chris is maybe a little bit more versatile than her. But overall, like, thought this was really good. Very much looking forward to her and Tony Storm. I think like her at the two of them will just like styles wise match up really, really nicely. And whenever Tony Storm's been doing that like middle rope DDT thing, like I feel like she can just really layer shit in against her. So that'll be really fun.
Yeah, the title match at Full Gear will be a lot of fun. Again, personally, I don't think there's going to be a title change. I think they're just trying to get to Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm to unify those belts, and then we'll move on from whatever that is. And then maybe it becomes Jamie Hayter's time somewhere down the line. But it is what it is. Guys, we get two quick things. They hype up Brian Cage and Dante Martin on Rampage this week, so we'll see that match. And then the Murder Hawk is beating up Ricky Starks right in front of Alex Marvez ahead of their scheduled match. So again, as we were talking before about David versus Goliath, this is another thing Starks will have to overcome. Will he be 100% for their match after getting beat up by Lance Archer? Will he be a little gun shy because of Lance Archer taking it to him? Who knows? But either way, I'm enjoying what they're doing with Starkman Jones.
Hell yeah. Stroke Daddy Jones.
Guys, we are into our main event. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara, 2 out of 3 falls match. We'll just sort of get through the match, right? And then you can break down whatever you want to break down. But Danielson wins the first fall by disqualification because Sammy throws or swings, I can't remember, a chair at Danielson's face. So he gets a disqualification and Danielson wins that first fall. After that, Danielson gets taken to the timekeeper's table, gets hit with the microphone, some overhead blows. We go to a commercial. Danielson's bleeding when they get back. And Sammy Guevara wins the second pinfall with the GTH to even things up at 1-1. And as we sort of get through this last segment, Danielson is able to win the third and final fall by submission with the arm trap label lock, winning the overall match 2-1. Of course, the action in this sort of third act of this match is pretty crazy. There's a Poison Frankensteiner that gets pulled off, Busaiku knee, moonsault DDT. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in this third fall. But either way, I feel like the few times they've done these 2 out of 3 falls matches, because they've done it like a few times to this point. They don't do it a lot. I like the way they structure their 2 out of 3 falls matches. I think that logically, when looking at the stories, all the falls feel different. And I like that when you do 2 out of 3 falls matches, because every segment feels like a different standalone match. Now, obviously with 2 out of 3 falls, you always sort of see like, oh, will it go to 3 falls? It always inevitably does. one time maybe I'd like somebody to throw a surprise in and just have this go 2 falls, and somebody runs the table real quick. Not real quick, but they run the table of falls. But that's picking nits. I thought this match was really good. Listen, as much shit as as much shit as Sammy Guevara gets, sometimes, he's fucking good in the ring, man. He does some crazy shit.
Great.
It's just when you hear the stories about him not liking taking stiff shots, you're like, come on, man, you know what business you're in. And quite frankly, with Danielson, you're going to take a few stiff shots. So, Kate, you are a Danielson, I guess a mark. You're not really a simp. You're a Danielson mark. What'd you think of this match?
Loved it. I feel like it was an important match for Sammy Guevara to have, because it showed, like, I think everybody remembers the stunty stuff that he does, right? But he's also a really great pro wrestler, and I think this showed it really, really, really well. God, Danielson is watching poetry in motion. He's so fucking good. Those elbow strikes coming out like 3/4 of the way through a match just hit different. Like, laying your shit in that hard when you're already bleeding and exhausted is like, man, that is just such fun storytelling. Thought it was really well structured too. As soon as Tay got ejected, I think the outcome was clear from the beginning, but I felt like it was very clear. I thought she was very funny tonight in her ridiculousness. It was a great main event. All the falls made sense. Kind of in the same way I referenced it a little bit earlier, that I feel like that MJF Darby Allin match on Full Gear 2 years ago was a really good showcase for who Darby Allin was as a wrestler and not a glorified stuntman. This match, I feel like, did a good job of showing Sammy Guevara's wrestling side a little bit more. And I also just like the story here. Like, Chris Jericho didn't come down at any point to try and help. Daniel Garcia has been MIA. Should he help Chris Jericho retain his title if Jericho's not going to come down and help him beat Danielson, right? Like, there's a lot of things that were productive in this loss for Sammy Guevara, which great pro wrestling should be productive for both sides, right? Him looking like a more grounded wrestler, him showing his athleticism with it all, still feeling very logical, was important. And story-wise, I think this is really, really good. When I look at where the pillars are, I don't necessarily love it. Like, MJF is obviously positioned well, but Darby Allin's doing a gimmick match. Sammy Guevara has been a lackey, and Jungle Boy's been caught up in the storyline for like 8 months, it feels like. So I'm hoping that they get back on these better tracks, because I think Garcia and Starks, who also deserve prominent spots in the company, are just like so far ahead of where they're at right now. So things like this, I think, are really, really good for a guy like Sammy Guevara.
And just to your point, before we get, Ryan Two Hats take on this, I'm with you on sort of where they have some of these other guys, right, who are the quote unquote pillars. I'm hoping that things go the way we anticipated. MJF wins this title. He does go on a run, but my hope is that this is the last pay-per-view of this year. We hit the reset button after this pay-per-view. We get to the end of the calendar year, and then we're into 2023, and we're going to start off with the New Year's Smash, or whatever they're calling it, the first show of the year. We'll start to sort of kick off these new stories. And I think it's only natural that after you sort of moved on from somebody who's been the face of the promotion for the last year and a half, right? That now you move on to some of these newer guys with new feuds with guys who are of the next generation. Because this would be your changing of the guard, right?
And we have Winters coming still, so
true. And we've got his, will they actually build to that though? Who the fuck knows? Because sometimes they don't build to those gimmick shows; they just kind of happen. And don't forget the other thing too is, while we didn't necessarily see anything tonight, it looks like House of Black is going to be on their way back. Like, there are a lot of other things coming within the next calendar year that should hopefully inject some new blood into what they're doing. Hopefully Mox gets an extended period away, which won't be a bad thing. He can rest up, heal up. People won't forget about Moxley. We'll move on to other stuff. Stat will come back from injury. Ruby will come back from injury. Saraya just got here, so there's a lot of stuff with the women going on. Maybe they introduce tag titles next year, so there's more infusion of stuff. Don't forget, too, Ring of Honor hopefully has something coming next year for TV, so more of this talent will move on to Ring of Honor. So I think what we'll be telling is moving past this pay-per-view into 2023 will be very telling for like what the future will hold for AEW and Ring of Honor and their stories. Like, so I hear what you're saying, Kate. I'm not discounting what you feel, but from my standpoint, I'm like, we just need to get past this pay-per-view, and then I think we're going to see all different shit.
No. I think you're 100% right with that. I think you're dead on with that.
I think we're going to see Darby separate from Sting. He's sort of been separating. I think this is maybe the last, not the last hurrah from Sting, but with Darby, this is probably going to be the last one. And maybe the way they do that is, hey, Jeff Jarrett was right. I have relied on you too heavily. I have gotten too comfortable having you with me. I need to do my own thing, and same thing with Ricky Starks, with Ethan Page, they're getting involved. So we'll see what happens. I feel hopeful for what's going on past this. So Ryan, all that being said, feel free to comment on any of that, but the match itself, the 2 out of 3 falls. What'd you think?
Well, I'm a Philly Cowboy. Home on the range.
You didn't say it right as a Philly Cowboy.
I know.
Talk about the match.
Fuck off. You talked about it forever. I got a look. No, it was a good match. I mean, you guys said so much. It was awesome. Sammy Guevara doesn't get the credit he deserves for how good he is in the ring. I thought it was intelligently laid out. I liked the ending where Danielson got the arm tucked away, which was the thing that was going to get Sammy out of the hold. And to hear Regal on commentary acknowledge it was really cool. It was a perfect match. I don't have much to say on it that hasn't been said, and it's going to play into the story of their 4-way because no one helped Sammy out, so why should Sammy help Chris, as Kate said?
I think they could even play that as well, as if it's not Sammy being like, why didn't you help me? Why should I help you? They could easily do something next week, an interview or something with Jericho, with the two of them going to Full Gear, where Jericho's kind of like, hey, you couldn't do it last week. That's sort of why you're going to help me get to my thing. And Sammy's like, what are you talking about? I held my own, with one of the best, and maybe that sort of drives the wedge between them going to this match. Now Jericho has to worry about 3 guys he didn't think he had to worry about. So there's plenty of ways they can do that. And I think maybe this is a way for them to sort of separate Sammy from the group. Maybe the Jericho Appreciation Society sort of dies at the year-end turn. The schedule, I think, is pretty crazy for Jericho because I think he was just over in the UK for Fozzy. And I don't know if they're going back to the UK to sort of finish that tour or whatever, but who knows? I mean, maybe he'll get some time off in the new year and they'll sort of break up the Jericho Appreciation Society and, Ring of Honor. Garcia's could move on to spend some time in Ring of Honor. Not like he needs to. I think he's over on AEW, but he is a title holder. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty good show tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Full Gear brings. Like, I think it's pretty awesome that we're probably going to get the Elite coming back, that we're getting Saraya's first match back. Like, there's a lot of really, really great stuff on here. So, and probably an MJF win, right? So, yeah, I think that'll be good shit. I'm excited.
Now, and the interesting thing is this wasn't even the go home, right? So like this very much felt like a go home. And usually with the go home, I feel like we've always felt like the go home is a little bit of a hangover show, right? Like they've sort of put all their eggs in one basket, like pushing to it really hard up to this point, and then the go home is sort of like wham wham, like it falls short. So we'll see what next week holds. I think they have to give some sort of indication on if the Elite return. So maybe the Elite come back next week to television and say, we are what makes this all Elite, and we want those titles back, and that's how we get there at Full Gear. Who knows? But we'll see what happens next week. It's the go home. I won't be here next week. I'll be in Bridgeport.
We know.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Have fun at it.
What's that?
Have fun at it.
Yeah, it should be good. Let's see. Kate, why don't you tell people? I don't have anything else for news and notes. I had a bunch of stuff before, but everything got closed down, so we're not doing any of that shit tonight. Kate, why don't you tell people where you're going to be when you're not here?
You can catch me Tuesdays on the NXT Sour Grapes post show. You can catch me here on Wednesdays. You can catch me on Fridays doing the AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show. And all pay-per-views on Fightful Select, doing behind the paywall pay-per-view post shows. And oftentimes Mondays and Fridays I hop on behind the paywall too. So hang out there. And the next Excite Wrestling show is December 2nd. So I will be back on commentary for that. Friend of the show, LSG, will be back on that card. Matt Cross will be there. Who else?
Boo, LSG. He took the pin in Dark. I was like, come on, LSG.
Come on. He's a WrestlePro champion.
Seriously, what the fuck are we doing? All right, we'll have to think of something else for you to work into commentary.
Yes.
We have
I got Yazzie Yaz out.
Okay. Schlong, what are you doing when you're not here?
Riding a horse.
I was going to say, clearly at the hat store.
He visits the haberdasher.
Mondays and Tuesdays, you can catch me live tweeting Dark and Dark Elevation. Rest of the week, just hanging out at Mark Order Pod. Come hang out with me. Be cool. Don't be a dick. That's about it. So strong and good night.
And you really only catch me here on Wednesday nights when I'm not being fancy, I guess. Or having issues or falling asleep. None of it helps. But be sure to follow us on social at Mark Order Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those places. Any one of those accounts has a link to our link tree in it, so you can get to all our other socials, subscribe for our YouTube through there, or hit that button, request free stickers, give us your full name, your full address, your country you live in, and I'll send you out some free Mark Order Podcast stickers. Nothing for you to worry about. We'll cover all the shipping and all that stuff. Don't believe all the hype about service charges and payment plans. That's just fake news.
Just one payment of $19.99.
No. Thanks to everybody for watching tonight. A lot of fun having a bunch of people in the chat. I'm not going back through this whole list because we were talking about fucking Judeo-Christian mythology bullshit. I see you, Jesse Ozog. Fucking Shakespeare teacher bullshit.
See you, baby. Shaking that ass.
Thanks everybody for who's watching on YouTube. And we appreciate you guys. If you listen to us in podcast format, we certainly appreciate you too. Make sure if you can help us out by liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, anything you do on your podcast platforms, help us. And if you would ever like to check out Ryan in his cowboy hat as he is tonight, looking like a cowboy, a Philly cowboy, a coal miner, and whatever else he's doing right now, certainly check us out on YouTube. Head over to the YouTube. All of these shows live there. Apparently now you can find them in the playlist section only or the live section only. So fucking dumb. But I assure you all of our videos are there. So you can go back in time. You can see Ryan playing the captain on episode 69. Somewhere Matt rips his shirt off because he's wasted on spicy margs, cats fighting, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you check it out. That is it. Stay tuned. Next week, Kate and Ryan will be here. Maybe there will be a run-in from old man Tony, but I guarantee you he's just going to complain and he won't have anything to say about the show because he's not going to be watching because he goes to bed at 6:00. So nothing to worry about. But then we're going to have Full Gear. We're going to be at Full Gear too. So that's the other thing is if anybody out there listening is going to be at Full Gear, definitely hit us up on our socials. Let us know. We'll be there along with the Shining Wizards and Phil from Turnbuckle Throwbacks in our suite. We'll be hanging out for the night. So if you're going to be there, let us know. We'll have some stickers to hand out if we meet up and stuff like that. So hit us up on our social. We'll see what people are doing. And then we'll be back. Like I said, Kate and Ryan will be back next week. I'll be back the week after Full Gear so we can talk about our trip to Full Gear and run down that show, as well as the fallout from the pay-per-view on Dynamite. So, guys, sorry I was late. Sorry I had technical issues to pile on top of being late. I will do better in 2 weeks when I return.
Yeah, fucking do better.
Thanks guys for listening. We love you all. Love you, Kate. Love you, Ryan Schlong. Kate, just be careful when you're doing your dick riding 4-ways. We just gotta really make sure we're practicing safe.
Look,
You know,
I got my permit. I'm just waiting to pass my test.
just buckle up and you know make sure you're protected behind the wheel.
I'm an outlaw.
Jesus,
That's right. That's why he's got the hat.
take the wheel.
We'll see you next week on the Mark Order Podcast.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.